Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week, in Gretna, Louisiana, a simple argument leads to a truly disturbing murder and a fight that left people thinking. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us this week and yaying and cheering murder. Thank you. That's not actually what we're doing, but you never know with some people the way they react to it, but that's okay. We'll get to all that. Thank you, thank you. We have an insane episode for you this week. Just wall-to-wall nuts. Starts out, it's one of those where it's a little disturbing.
Okay.
It's one of the more disturbing, if we had to, if we put them like in halves of our episodes, like, well, this is which side does this one go on? This is going to go on the more disturbing side. Okay. So buckle up for that and be ready for that, and you're forewarned. Yeah. And thank you, by the way, for your iTunes reviews this week. You stellar people out there who have chosen to do that. They help us out so much. They really do. The iTunes reviews get you noticed, and we're to the point where we're really pushing up on a lot of heavy hitters. We're like 3,000 behind Serial.
That's ridiculous.
Which is crazy. So that's you guys. Thank you so much. So when people are looking at us for something and they see that, they go, whoa, those people they have motivated listeners. So thank you. That helps us out so much, and it drives us up the charts. So if you haven't done it yet, please go over to iTunes, give us 5 stars. Doesn't really matter what you say. It doesn't. It's not for our ego. So what do we like to say? Your cloud formations. There you go. Tell us your favorite cloud formations.
Cumulus are gorgeous.
gorgeous. That means it's going to rain.
Just comment cumulus, and then we're happy. Well, not everyone likes rain. They don't live in the desert like us, like complete idiots.
I enjoy it.
They live places where it rains on a regular basis, like normal people.
A year.
Absolutely. So just do that. It helps us out on the business end so much. And if you want to help us out, speaking of the business end, if you want to be one of our superstar hero producers, so many that we love so much, you can do that very, very easily by going over to patreon.com/crimeinsports, or you can go over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. And if you don't know, that's our other podcast, which you should also be listening to. I don't know what you're thinking if you're not, because you don't have to like sports.
No.
You really don't. You don't have to know who these people are. It's the same thing as this show. You've never heard of most of these people.
Right.
It's the story that's interesting, and trust us to give you a good story in a funny way. So please do that. Like we said, PayPal. And if you just want to go over to shutupandgivememurder.com, you can check out all of everything. Check out the shirts, and there's new shirts up, and all the merchandise and upcoming tour information, which will be up very soon, in less than 2 weeks. So check that out and all that good stuff. But never mind, we have to get to the disclaimer. This is a comedy podcast.
It is.
We've said it before. We're going to say it again.
Right.
It's a comedy podcast. We're comedians.
We are.
So we're going to make jokes. That's what happens. We're going to make jokes. We make jokes at the expense of small towns, and maybe a bumbling police force, maybe a murderer, things like that. What we don't do, what we try our very, very best not to do, is to make jokes at the expense of the victims or of the victims' families. That's our way to try to not be complete jerks, because we are assholes,
that's true,
but we're not scumbags.
That's also true.
So that's the way we're going to work that right there. So if you're still on board at this point, if you're like, yes, true crime and comedy are good, that's fine together. If they do it the right way, I'm on board with this, then you're in the car.
Right.
We're on the way to the liquor store to rob it. So no complaining.
None.
At this point, we're all in.
Right.
If one of us accidentally pulls the trigger and it sprays a little Korean woman's brains all over the Marlboros and the cheap vodka behind the counter.
Might be the first robbery for somebody.
All over the Fleischmans and the Popovs. Then guess what? You're in it too. We're all in it. So no complaining at this point. Right. And if you don't think that true crime and comedy belong together, no matter how they're done, then that's great, but we're probably not going to get along.
Fucking get lost.
You should probably hit the unsubscribe button, or in layman's terms, fuck off.
Yeah.
So that said,
as the British would bid you, fuck off.
Yes, that's the British polite way of bidding adieu. That's what you do in Britain. If you're polite, you say fuck off. So now, if you're on board with that, then good. Let's move forward. Let's move forward, because I know what you're saying. I know what you're clamoring for. You're saying shut up and give me murder.
Do it.
And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. Let's do it. Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
I can't wait.
What do you say? Let's pack up the bags. We were in Arkansas last week.
It was cloudy with a chance of grasshoppers.
It was cloudy with a chance of overalls last week, and it
was overalls with a chance of grasshoppers. That's what it was.
Overalls with a chance of meth teeth. Just dangling, falling to the ground,
and it says
like raindrops, and it said lots of things
they
there.
Were coming.
It was definitely coming, but this week we're going to Louisiana. So we were in northwestern Arkansas. Now we're going to southeastern Louisiana.
Trip.
It's a quick trip. Kind of being in the south, kind of twice, and back to back. We'll be in the northeast next week.
Terrific.
So there you go. But this week we're down here. But you can do South episodes and then do a Louisiana, because yes, Louisiana is the South. Right. It is absolutely the South, but it's also its own planet. Planet Louisiana, I like to call it. It's absolutely its own planet. It's like Austin is in Texas, where you're like, this isn't part of Texas.
This is weird.
I see the flag everywhere because it's the capital, but
everything's so clean.
But I haven't seen one gay guy get beat up for no reason yet so far today. So this is not reminding me of Texas.
And
it's
that's
very
bizarre,
strange,
because they're everywhere in chaps.
That's what I mean. So it's very, very, very strange. Louisiana is the same way. It's its own planet. It's weird. It's part French. It's got Creole influence. It's got all sorts of different influences. It's just a weird place. It's very, very strange. But let's go there. We're going to Gretna, Louisiana. Have you ever heard of Gretna?
No.
Gretna kind of got a little bit of infamy a few years ago.
Oh?
We'll talk about why in a second here. It's in the southeastern part of the state. It's just above New Orleans. It is just outside of New Orleans. This is like Edgewood, Kentucky was to Cincinnati, where it's just on the other side of a river, but a completely different world.
Louisiana might be the only state where you can think about the people that live there and see poor, broke white people, and then just as quickly be also super poor black people.
Also, I just see houses on blocks a lot of times. That's what I see. Now, a lot of people love Louisiana.
There's also a lot of amazing things.
There's some cool shit in Louisiana. It's a cool spot, but it's also, like I said, it's its own planet. It's a very, very strange place. And like I said, the Mississippi River is the difference between New Orleans and Gretna, and it might as well be a chasm of lava, basically. I mean, it's fucked up like New Orleans, but it's not. It's really that's you wouldn't imagine a river would make that much of a difference, but it's the mighty Mississippi, I guess. There you go.
It's mighty as fuck.
It's mighty as fuck. This is it's about 15 minutes to New Orleans here. You know, faster if you fly over the bridge. About an hour and a half to Biloxi, Mississippi, over to the east, and about an hour and a half to Baton Rouge, the state capital. So nowhere exciting there, but it's right there. I mean, if you're a kid growing up here, you can get into New Orleans very quickly and see lots of boobs and drink, I'm sure.
Tits.
Sure, underage drink or whatever you do in Mardi Gras. It's in Jefferson Parish, which is the parishes are like a county down there. We explained it in the last Louisiana
Parishes
episode.
And wards. It's fucking bizarre.
It's weird. Some of these places, and they all have like New Jersey set up in a weird way with the towns the way they are. They're all like boroughs of. It's hard to explain, but this it's all parishes and down in Louisiana, not so much counties. This town is at the tip of a tiny panhandle off the eastern part of the county.
So it's happening.
It's happening. This is panhandle action in full flow. And this episode might be like the ground zero, number one panhandle behavior episode where you're like, you panhandle motherfucker when this shit goes on.
All right.
Zip code 70053, area code 504. Beware calls from the Gretna area. 4.47 square miles here, 4 of which are on land. The rest is in river. Here, they have a slogan, actually.
Fantastic.
In Gretna, it's not a very good slogan. It's not very creative.
We
but
flush it all into the Mississippi.
It is, we want you, in capital letters, you in Gretna.
That's stolen.
That's stolen from the United States government.
Uncle Sam will be very pissed.
I would say so. Also, this is more of a non-official motto. Not so fast, black people. That's the other one. We'll find out what that means in a moment. But
we want you. You know who we mean.
That's the addendum on there. Not so fast, black people. It says we'll find out what happened here.
Okay.
History. Gretna was settled back in 1836. It was originally Mechanicshamn was the name of it, which is a
get the fuck out
Mechanicshamn. It's not. That's a terrible. There's a lot of Mechanicsburgs.
Try to
back
British
east.
it up.
Mechanicshamn. It's not fancy. We're going to Mechanicshamn to mire in the muck in the bayou. Yes. Oh, we're going to have sex with our cousins. Yes, indeed. Wonderful.
You're going to fornicate with Olakin.
Oh, beautiful. All right, then. So this was a kind of a station on the Mississippi River here. They had railroad that went in and out, and a ferry that went across the river to New Orleans.
Very southern.
Yes, a wealthy landowner named Nicholas Noel Destrahan hired a surveyor to divide this big swath of land into. It was right on the river there, and originally it was a symmetrical plan that had 2 block wide, like a 2 block wide settlement with a few streets in it, and he laid it out basically. It became known to a lot of German immigrants. Known to have a lot of German immigrants there who ended up kind of becoming it's weird down there. That's what I mean. You wouldn't expect a big German, a German Hamburg in southern Louisiana. There's Italians and French down there.
Okay.
But Germans, interesting. Well, the Italians weren't there yet. Anyway, so the community here was kind of established. They had the St. Mary's Market Steam Ferry Company was started going across the river there. They were laid. They did the same kind of thing here with the streets. They laid them out everywhere. They would every 2 blocks. They'd lay them out, just kind of boring and kind of in squares. They didn't really have no art to it, really. Nothing weird. Which you'd think in Louisiana they'd have a little bit of curveball to it, but
it's the French. They fucking
nothing there.
They're so artsy.
the spice Zatarans there.
Yeah.
The Zatarans who makes rice and spices and shit.
They're in that town.
They're in that, founded here in 1889.
How about that?
So Zatarans
the
comes from
jambalaya
here.
shit.
The rice in a bag that, their box or whatever the fuck it comes in. It's still better than what I could make Cajun rice probably. I don't know how to do that.
It's a step above rice-a-roni.
Oh, it's it's you know what it is? It's rice-a-roni, but it makes people feel like because rice-a-roni,
something.
Well, rice-a-roni's kind of just it's kind of plain in the middle. It's a vanilla thing. This is like, I'm being adventurous
all the way through.
I can barely pronounce that. There's a Z in there. That's way different. I don't know.
It's a black guy bugling on the front. This shit is amazing.
Uncle Ben's just has a black guy. Looks like he just got done reading, and he said, "Excuse me," and they snapped his photo and they put it on a rice box.
Zataran's like Uncle Ben partying.
That's what I mean. He's got a trumpet. He's like fucking.
He's having a great time. It's Uncle Ben's after a couple of drinks.
It's Louis Armstrong's rice, is what it is. So you got to have that. Much better.
I like it.
The town was incorporated in 1913. Mm-hmm. It absorbed another section of another town called McDonough, which was also in Jefferson Parish. They opened the Mississippi River Bridge in 1958.
Really?
It took until 1958 to get a bridge across to New Orleans, and that blew everything up. Once there's a bridge to New Orleans, they had the West Bank Expressway, and then everything changed here. The expressway went through some residential parts of the city, which I'm sure made those houses then shitty. Yeah. Anything right by the expressway and that sort of thing. It took out a lot of neighborhoods too when they put this in, but also. Population blew up at that point too because
it just ate a town.
You didn't have to ferry to New Orleans. If you worked there, you could just go across there. Hurricane Katrina in 2005. This is where Gretna got a little famous here. They got a lot of press coverage because. I don't know if you remember the pictures and the videos of people trying to walk across a bridge and being stopped by large lines of white people with shotguns saying, "Nah, mother, not so fast, black people." You see where that motto comes in. That was these people that were saying, "Not so fast."
I heard you want us.
Yeah, they're like,
not you.
Not
you.
Yeah, you said you want you and Gretna. Does that include me?
Put the
shots
down.
Fired over your head. I guess not.
These are not sandbag bullets.
This shit was crazy though. The 60 Minutes, we're talking to people who are on this bridge here, and this one person says there was no electricity or plumbing, so after 4 days it just became, I'm sure, a danger to not just the hotel, but for us. We needed to get out. Yeah, if you're in a hotel
for 4 days
with no plumbing and electricity. That's
4 days.
4 days. You're shitting in the bathtub at that point.
Yeah, you can't hold it for 4 fucking days.
They might as well call it a hurricane bathtub full of shit. That's what that should be called. That's fucking horrible. So they walked out and tried to leave these people. Yeah. I guess 200 people from the hotel ended up stranded somewhere. They said, quote, "A gentleman came out and identified himself as one of the commanders, and he said, 'I have a solution. I have buses waiting for you across the bridge.'"
Right.
So these people are like, okay. Right. So there was hundreds of other people who were walking.
He drove them into the river.
And then he drove them directly into the river in a bus as he jumped out with a parachute. He said, "Bye, suckers!" Just heard splash. So he said, they said, so they all went to the bridge that leads to Gretna. And they, at that point, shit got interesting. When they approached the police line, the cops told them there were no buses.
Yeah.
And then shot a shotgun in the air.
Oh, my God.
So they were like, okay. This one lady said, quote, "I was scared at first. I've heard shots before because I live in an inner city area, but not a shotgun.
They're not right next to my fucking head.
And not right there. And I was concerned about my safety and those who were with me." Well, that's an understatement, I would say.
It's a very polite thing to say for somebody who was just assaulted with a shotgun.
"I shit my pants." Right. Oh, my God. This shit was fucking crazy.
He's trying to kill me.
Did you see? He fucking shooting over our heads. This is insanity. So they said that she saw other officers fire their guns at some point. She said, "We were close enough to them. They'd racked their shotguns and let off a warning shot. We were this far away," said as far away from you and I, and they were firing off gunshots. They said they tried to get an explanation. They said, quote, "The only two explanations we ever received were, we're not going to have any superdomes over here. This is not New Orleans."
Oh, Jesus.
To me, that was code language or code words for, we're not having black people come into our neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say we're not going to have any superdomes over here means that probably.
You're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, at that point, you're pretty fucked. I don't know where you go at that point.
understand.
I mean, that's just a tough thing here. I mean, I don't know I'm sure not all the people in the town were up for this and whatever the fuck. It's just,
At that point, you find a cardboard sign and start writing help and aiming it at fucking helicopters. That's unbelievable.
Well, they set up a makeshift camp in the middle of the highway there. I remember that. And they said that a Gretna police vehicle drove up, and they said, quote, he sped down in his cruiser, and over the loudspeaker, he just continually said, get the fuck off the bridge. So... Okay,
that's your hero.
That seems interesting. They said, quote, why do you think that you were turned away? I think because the group was 95% African American, she says. Probably, yes. This place is known as the arrest capital of the United States.
Right.
It's insane, the statistics here. I won't get into the actual stats, but it's nuts. The arrest rates here are higher, like 10 times higher than anywhere else in the country. It's nuts. I don't know if it's overzealous policing or if it's people are fucking up and not very good at getting away with it. I don't understand, I don't know what it is, but they're arresting a shitload of people here. Portions of the movie Monsters Ball were filmed in Gretna.
Is that right?
Which is interesting.
Some where Billy Bob fucked Hallie?
Whatever's terrible that happened there, I would say is
that was pretty impressive.
So there's a few people from here, a couple of football players here. Ike Taylor, Eddie Lacy are both from here.
Really?
They're both from here. Mel Ott, baseball Hall of Famer. Mel Ott, Lash LaRue, the Western star of the 40s, I guess it was, 30s, 40s, that sort of thing here. So, there you go. Those are the people from here. Population in this town, in 1920, they had 7,100 people. Wow. By 1970, they had 24,000 people.
Booming.
And then nowadays, they have 17,880 people.
Yeah.
So it's gone down.
Hurricane washed a few thousand away.
It washes a few thousand. No, it started going down before that. The peak of this place was 1970.
Really?
It's been declining in population since 1970. Okay. It's resurgent. It's up 1.8% since 1990. So not much. It's held steady here.
Steamboats kind of went out of business.
There you go. The steamboats went from 25,000 in 1970 to 17,000 in 1990. That's kind of an exodus there. That's pre-Katrina.
Yeah.
Age here, median age is about 36.2, so it's a year younger than normal. A few more males than females, which is kind of out of whack here, especially for a town with that high a population. Yeah. There's just more. Also, too, there's some, you can work offshore and shit like that here, so that explains a little bit. Married population's about 40%, which is less than the 50% average, obviously. Widowed is a little more. Divorce rate's a little bit higher here. More single people than single, no children, it's double here. Single with children, it's almost double also.
Okay.
So a lot of single people here. Go down there, party, pick somebody up.
Yeah.
Race of this town, white people, 44% white in this town, 33% black.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. That's
my point.
That's pretty mixed in the South
Louisiana.
there. Yeah. 3.32% Asian.
Yeah.
So they'll give you an Asian once in a while. No, definitely not here. 15.91% Hispanic, which is about just pretty much exactly on average here. So the race of the town kind of. It's good. It's a balance. There's a balance of people in this town. No, you wouldn't like it if you're looking for, say, Native Americans. They're about 1%, but that's still more than the average.
That's a lot.
That's more than normal for a place, or average anyway. About 54% of the people here are religious, which is a little bit higher than the average. It's 50-50.
It's South.
It's funny because it's the religion and the marriage rates are the same. Everywhere. It's about average is about 50-50 married, about 50-50 religious. 5.9% Baptist here. 34.6% Catholic.
Wow.
You're going to get a lot of that in the South.
True.
That's not in the South. In New Orleans in that area, you're going to get. It's Catholic down there. It's a different
Italians.
kind of it's more of a European South.
I don't think it's the
anyways.
Black people that are the Catholics. So.
Probably not. That's going to make up some of your Baptists there, and you got 3.1% Pentecostal.
You betcha.
That sort of thing there. 0.06% Jewish. So not a lot of that going on there. 0.07% Islam. So also there, not a lot.
Our brothers.
39% of the people in Gretna are Democrats in the last presidential election.
That's
anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah, and 58% Republican, which is
interesting.
odd for a town that's 33% black.
Yeah.
It's just funny. And 44%. What you would think I don't know. That seems, I don't think the
Those
black people are voting
are
a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
If nothing else. I'd like to talk to these people.
Yeah. What's going on here? I'd like to do
have some conversations.
I would like to do like one of those Dateline, like man on the street things where I just want to go in. I don't know if it's Dateline or one of those old news magazine shows where I go around and I go, what the fuck is happening here? Tell me.
What happened?
What's going on with you people? Right. All of you, damn it.
It's bizarre.
Unemployment rate 6.1% here, so it's higher than the national average. Household income is $34,158.
That's interesting,
which is about $20,000 less than the national average. Yeah. So a lot of times, most of the southern incomes are just lower for some reason. The cost of living's lower a lot.
Closer to the coast you get too, the higher the income gets for fishing and shit like that.
No, that's true. That's
Vacation and stuff.
Well, there's an expensive part of this town we'll get to. It's one of these towns where it's there's a nice part and there's a shit part.
Gotcha.
It's one of those. There's definitely some tracks, we'll say. Okay. It's more about. I think it's more about expressways and shit like that cut through, like we talked about. More construction than normal. About twice as many construction jobs as normal. Here, that sort of shit, but there's not as many like healthcare jobs or education jobs or that sort of thing. Not a ton of that.
Close enough to Baton Rouge or some shit, or New Orleans.
I guess so. Probably New Orleans. I'm sure you could
get your healthcare over there.
Hop over the bridge there, no problem. 12 minutes away or whatever it is. Cost of living, we say 100 is average, normal, regular par. 91 in Gretna on cost of living. Okay. So and everything's pretty normal. Groceries 95, healthcare 95. Housing is a 78 though. Yeah. That's a little low. Median home cost here is $145,900, which is lower. Right now, it's gone up. They did like a refresh on this whole thing. A refresh. Re-estimate here. Not on Zillow though, but it used to be about 185 was the national average on a home cost here. Now it's 216.
Is that right?
So it's gone up that much in the last year, which is a shitload. $40,000. Yeah, that's a little too much.
Sorry.
I think our assets are overvalued, let's just say. I'm not going to get into stocks and assets and shit, but you know my opinions.
I got you.
So, so it's less, though, here. Like I said, 145.9. It has a big kind of an empty, we'll say, mainly vacant part of the downtown that has like brand new riverfront condos with a view of New Orleans, and they're trying to make it like fancy. They start about $350,000-$400,000, and most of them are fucking empty. It's kind of a not a real affluent town, and they're trying to sell like this affluent lifestyle there. Sure. And they're like, if I'm going to spend that much, I'll move to New Orleans.
Fuck yeah.
I'll move to the city, actually.
Right. The place where that money will come back to me if I have to sell this shit.
Not just look at it across a smelly river. It's no thank you here. So if we have convinced you that the only place for you to be is in Gretna, Louisiana, make sure there's not a hurricane and you're crossing a bridge. Get there another way. Maybe come in from the side there, from the land side or something.
Don't ask cops for help.
We have for you the Gretna, Louisiana Real Estate Report. Your average two-bedroom apartment here goes for about $1,070, which seems very high considering the average cost of a house is way like
it's a 73, and
that's out of
the
whack.
Average rental cost.
They probably have some fancy rentals, probably. I would imagine the rest are kind of houses. I'm not sure.
Just in case you get the idea to get the fuck out of here in 12 months.
You never know.
Get the money we can get out of you now.
Found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,350 square foot little house here. It's not too bad. Little rundown. $145,000. I found a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath, 2,100 square foot house here for $160,000.
Okay.
It's not a bad little house. Some cosmetic work, pop a new backsplash on there, and you got something. That's all I'm going to say here.
Off of it.
That's right. And then I found a foreclosure. Well, this wasn't really wrecked by Katrina that much because that's where people were going.
Got it.
Here. So then I found a foreclosure here. It's a brick house. Very, very nice. 4-bedroom, 3.5-bath, 3,500 square feet.
Yeah.
Nice big house, $339,000.
And somebody lost their ass on it.
Somebody lost their ass on it. They bought it for fucking $600.
Yeah.
It was upside down like crazy. Things to do. We found the Gretna Heritage Festival here, which is their big event. And it's actually
Heritage Festival.
It's actually a pretty big event. Well, if you're 60 years old, it's a big event, as we'll get to the lineup of musical acts in the last one.
Wait.
They had Kiss one night.
Of course they did.
Then the following night, they had Huey Lewis and the News.
Holy shit.
And the News. He brought the whole news with him.
Brought it
everything. The B-52s were there.
Jesus Christ.
Followed by, closing it out on a Sunday night,
Bryan Adams?
Pat Benatar.
Yes.
Close. Female Bryan Adams is what you just described. So, yes.
What?
I should have just said.
That was one fucking year?
They're the same person.
That was the same year.
That was the same year.
All of those.
There was more acts that I've heard of and shit, but those were the big ones.
Those are very Caucasian acts.
Yeah. The Heritage Festival, as we know, when anyone uses the word heritage.
That is the most racist word.
It's a code word, we all know.
It's
so,
the most veiled, we are racist as fuck word ever.
The Gretna Very White Festival, starring Huey Lewis, the B-52s, and Pat Benatar. Kiss.
Don't forget about
We're not
Kiss
advertising Kiss because Gene Simmons is a Jew, so we're going to keep him out of the loop. We're not going to advertise him, but I feel like everyone in the B-52s is pretty. That guy, I know he's probably gay, but he's not flaunting it, so we're gonna go okay with him right now. So that's what they're saying,
leather.
Not me. It's not me. It's not. That's all I'm saying. So crime rate in this, they're just hoping he's got to be plowing that big redhead. That's what it has to be, right? Right. That's what he's doing. It has to be.
You're talking about the guy in the B-52.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about everybody in Kiss.
No. I'm talking about the B-52.
The weirdo. The guy that fucking is so flamboyant.
Yeah, he's clearly like an older gay man who, has like... he reminds me of the guy in the John Mulaney joke who rhymes in the bathroom. You know what I mean? So, crime in this town.
His face is too fucking animated.
It is.
In every video I've ever seen.
He's like into it.
Herky-jerky to the music.
He made his money.
It's so weird.
I bet he lives in a nicer house than any of these fucking real estate report ones.
Dudes in, I'm sure it's amazing.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Blow dudes all you want in that fucking house. So, in 2013, the crime rate, think I wasn't going to come with some numbers. I was just going to say they made a lot of arrests. Yeah. Come on now. Okay. I said I wasn't going to go into it, but I am.
Okay.
Gretna Police Department made 6,566 adult arrests.
They have 17,000 people.
That's insanity. That's a little more than one for every 3 of these residents.
Right.
All of the arrests include non-residents also, but that's 14 times the arrest rate of the typical American town. 14
times.
14 times. And their crime rate isn't 14 times the crime rate. But their arrest rate is 14 times the arrest rate. That's from FBI data there.
That's a lot.
Property crime, it's like 15% higher, 10% higher. It's not that much. Violent crime, Mount Rushmore, murder, rape, robbery, assault of violent crime is even higher than that, but it's not 14 times. It's like 20% higher than normal.
That's not 14 times.
It's not 14 times.
It would have to be 1,400.
I don't know
percent.
I don't know if 3/4 of the people in the town are cops, and they arrest the other quarter of the people. Right. They're just like constantly patrolling, staring at people, waiting for them to break a law, or I don't know what it is.
That's a huge number.
It's a pretty big number, and it's a little bit weird if I'm going to be honest with you here. But let's talk about some shit that happened here that was pretty goddamn violent. And like I said, this one's pretty. This is a pretty graphic one, and description of the murder, and then the case is crazy too. So we'll get into all this here. Great. We're going to go back in time, Jimmy. We got to step into the time machine for this one. Our last couple have been pretty recent. Pretty recent. We had one in like 1990, but we've had 2011, 2010, 2009. So we're going to go back in time. I like when we do these.
That last week in Arkansas, that was 2010.
That was 2010. It felt like it was
fucking crazy.
It felt like it was like the 40s. It felt like it was, people who were too injured to go to war, and they were just on like a busted farm that didn't work right and shit, and they couldn't make a living, and they were about to be foreclosed on.
That shit happened with Jerry Seinfeld haggling a deal for comedians in cars getting coffee.
With Seinfeld worth $1 billion. Right. That's just crazy. iPhones flying off the shelves like nobody's business.
And that guy's got overalls getting blown by his stepsister.
A black guy was president.
Stepdaughter.
A black guy was president, and this was happening, which is progressive and not progressive progressive in this terms of this stuff. So shit has been crazy here. So we'll go all the way back. We're going all the way back to the 70s, Jimmy. Time machine. We got to flip and roll. And oh man, the clocks are spinning. And wow.
Babies are going back into Palin.
Was that a chicken that just flew by us? I think something like that. Yeah. Bullets are coming out of wolves and back into Palin's guns. So it's all happening right now. So it's all the way back. We're going back to the mid 70s. There's a little over 20,000 people here. This is like the big decline period. This is like everyone's running on fire from Gretna. Nobody wants to be here. We're going to go all the way back to 1979. So let's picture the hair and the sideburns and the
smelly
giant bushes that are just coming out of your tight pants.
In Louisiana.
That's the weird part about the 70s that I don't get, is it seems like the pubes of men and women were at their biggest. They seem like they were blow drying them and fluffing them up, and then the pants were the tightest. So were you trying to show your dick or your pubes?
Well, I mean, if you've got a big bulge, you could confuse either.
Look at that pube puff.
Nobody's gonna know until it comes out.
That's a pube puff right there. But you want to find out what I got going on?
You better promise to put whatever's in here in your mouth.
Oh man, a pile of pubes. Who the hell who's that hot for? Who's turned on by that? Yeah, put all my pubes in your mouth. That's not.
Get them out of the way and put whatever's buried in there.
That's what. You'd have to clear it out with.
Whatever.
You'd need like an X-Acto knife or a machete or something in the 70s to get through there. Something's happening.
Find the stinky mushroom.
Oh my God, let's do it. It's the hunt for the stinky mushroom, otherwise known as 1979. 1979.
Blowjobs.
The year of the stinky mushroom. That's what they called it, I believe, right? Is that
something like that?
Something like that, I believe.
That's the year my sister was born, so my mom found one.
So it's your sister, she found her own stinky mushroom. And your sister, that's very nice. She found not in your sister, your dad's had the stinky mushroom. Perfect. I thought you were calling your sister a stinky mushroom. It's like, that's terrible, Jimmy. That's not nice. But if you're calling your dad's penis a stinky mushroom,
that's the fun part.
Carry on.
Jesus, that's gross.
Oh, man. So we're going to go all the way back.
Yeah.
We're going to go all the way back to September 28th, 1979, and we're going to meet a few people. Okay. Let's meet a few people and find out about them. These are some Gretna residents. Cynthia Shano is there. This is her house is where we're going to end up. But she's hanging out. She goes out and parties with her live-in boyfriend, Robert Wayne Sawyer. Now, Robert Wayne Sawyer is a real, let's just say he's a real catch.
Yeah.
He has an involuntary manslaughter conviction from Arkansas under his belt, which makes it worse, I feel like. Like, if you say you have an involuntary manslaughter conviction, that's bad. But if you go, I got an involuntary manslaughter conviction up in Little Rock, you're like, ooh, Jesus.
That was fucking quadruple murder.
That's worse. That was involuntary. They just fuck up the crime scene and you were dumb enough to plead to something or something. What happened there?
Yeah.
Jesus, involuntary. So he's got that, and he's got one eye. So he's got like a glass eye that kind of goes.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, and it's a 70s glass eye too. This isn't, and he's like, it's 70s poor person in Louisiana glass eye.
Oh my God.
So it's not like a good one.
No.
It's not even like as good as like Sandy Duncan's or Sammy Davis Jr.'s. It's not even somebody I don't know any current celebrities with glass eyes. Sorry, I had to pull those out of the.
It's just like an extra marble from Hungry Hippos.
That's it. And they colored it blue and they're like, what's a pupil look like? Fuck it. Plug that in your face. Be careful, though. Don't trip or nothing, because it'll fall out.
Oh, my God. You're going to be chasing this all over Gretna.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you're going to want to definitely keep some wet wipes on you in case because there's going to be cat hair and shit all over.
Maybe some JB Weld or some fucking crazy glue.
Whatever falls out on the floor, whatever it touches, it's just going to stick to it. You don't want to put that back in your skull hole, do you? Want to just pop that back into your skull hole there, Chief?
How the fuck did you find this?
A one-eyed involuntary manslaughterer from Arkansas is hanging out with somebody, and he found a woman.
That's the other point.
Hey, everybody,
you're single,
guys. If you're single and you can't find women, especially there's men out there who are like dicks because they're angry at women because they can't find a woman. Hey, a woman. Hey, this fucking guy.
This guy's got one.
Involuntary manslaughter. manslaughter and one fucking eye and a 70s Louisiana glass eye rolling around, a goddamn marble with some Sharpie on it, and you're going to complain?
Maybe it's you that needs to cheer up, bitch.
And that's right. And he didn't have Tinder.
No.
He had no way of finding these people. He just had to go to a bar, look at them with one eye, push the other one over so they were focused both on her, and then say, hey, how you doing, honey?
Or just have an incredible quaff that keeps her attention off that fucking eye.
You keep your top button of your pants unbuttoned, and you just let
show a little dick
let it flow out, I feel like.
Hell yeah.
Maybe you put a little medallion in it, like in your chest hair in the 70s. See how it works there.
Spray some cologne on it.
Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Simply Safe Home Security.
SimplySafe.com.
That is SIMPLI safe.com. We love this alarm system. This is a really awesome, convenient, it gives you peace of mind. It's everything you need to protect your home, nothing you don't. Most of these alarm companies are really annoying because they load your home up with obnoxious hardwired technology and you wait forever to have it installed. You're bombarded with contracts and all this type of thing. Simply Safe is different. It doesn't do any of that stuff. It's security you actually want. It's designed so you won't notice it. You never have to think about it. It's that easy. It's intuitive. There's no contract. They work hard to earn your business. That's how they're going to keep your business. They're going to earn it. They're not going to just tie you in with a contract that you're forced to stay there.
Make you love it.
That's right. 24/7 monitoring, police and fire dispatch, just $15 a month for that, $15 a month. Comprehensive protection for your windows, doors, every single room, backups, protecting your home. Even if you lose power, you lose internet, someone attacks the system, it's all backed up, no problem at all. It's won Editor's Choice Awards from CNET, PC Magazine, and The Wirecutter. And Simply Safe protects over 2 million people. Visit simplysafe.com today for free shipping and free returns on a 60-day risk-free trial. Go now, simplysafe.com/small. simplysafe.com/small.
SIMPLISAFE.com/small. And now back to the show.
So this is Robert Wayne Sawyer. It was Robert Sawyer here. They go out. They were out bar hopping all night in the West Bank area here, which sounds as shitty as I'm sure it is.
Sounds like Tel Aviv.
Well, I was going to say, which is definitely a spot where some action has gone down in both places, probably. So they go out. They're partying all night. They meet a guy while they're out named Charles Lane. He's a stranger to them. They never met Charles Lane before this evening. They meet Charles Lane.
But Chuck is fascinated with that eye.
Oh, he loves that eye. He's like, oh boy, I'll tell you something about this guy. And Robert Wayne Sawyer, the funny part is too, if you think that he's just an involuntary manslaughter with a phony eye, and you got to see him too. He looks fucking nuts. His hair is like this bushy, this bushy 70s mess. He's got sideburns, a glass eye going off in one direction. He's a crazy looking fucking guy. He's insane.
Daniel Stern.
He looks insane. He's like insane Christopher Lloyd, like if he was, but like Taxi 70s Christopher Lloyd before he was, Back to the Future Christopher, before he was Doc Brown, when he was Jim Ignatowski there, when he's Reverend Jim. He looks kind of like that if Reverend Jim was on Hard Times, didn't have that taxi job and a glass eye. Oh, and by the way, involuntarily manslaughtered someone in Arkansas, which is a lot different than Christopher Lloyd.
Man, and he's got a girlfriend.
He's a fucking catch, man, isn't he? He's a winner. This is the guy. This is the winner.
1979 is a man's world.
And all of that, I haven't even touched on what's mainly wrong with him. That's the other thing.
We can end the show right now.
He's got
plenty of laughs.
Other problems. Yeah, it's been pretty funny. We made fun of a terrible town. We fucking made fun of a bunch of racist people. We got a one-eyed Jim Ignatowski stumbling around murdering people and shit. This is easy.
What the fuck is going on?
Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Small Town Murder. Here's our list of producers.
I gotta go back to bed.
Yeah, this is fucking crazy, man. This is nuts. What are we even doing here?
What the fuck is going on?
And they meet Charles Lane, and this guy goes, I'm going to hang out with these two. That's a thing. That seems...
Well, shit's going to be fun.
I have a feeling Robert Sawyer just takes friends wherever he can get them. If someone's like willing to come and hang out with him, he's like, okay, shit, I don't meet a lot of friends. Most people can't tell can't tell which eye's looking at him because it's a bad one. Yeah. So they're all shit-faced.
That's the thing, though. When there's a fucked up eye in the room, you're going to find it.
And everyone knows it's there. Everyone's thinking about it. Everyone's thinking, including the person with the eye.
One fucking eye. Everybody will find it.
Yeah, it's like I said, I can't express to you how much it's not a good glass eye. It's not a good one. It is not like...
Just patch it up, bro.
It's not top notch.
Just wear an eye patch.
You know what? That's the only thing that could make him look more sketchy. Would be as if he had an eye patch, I would say.
At least you could just be like, man, I realize this shit's distracting. I promise it's way worse without it.
A Charles Manson swastika tattoo in the middle of his forehead is less suspicious than a big bushy hair doing an eye patch.
Amazing.
That looks terrible. So they're hammered, these three, right? And they come home from the bar. They bring Charles Lane home with them for some reason.
That now is weird.
It's weird, but it doesn't seem to be for sexual purposes. They didn't say, like, he wasn't like, I guess come home and bang my woman with me. Like, that wasn't a part of it. They weren't making a weird porn or anything. It's the 70s. Yeah. I mean, maybe they were swinging, but that's not what happened. So I doubt that's what was going on. Seemed like they were just hanging out, having a good talk about the, I don't even know what.
I got my eye on you.
I got mine. He's asking him where he got that from. They're talking about, so that store, what they got, like fake legs and shit too? What they got there? Like an arm you could just put on? Like what?
Tell you what, we've been drinking all night. Let's just go back to your house, sleep it off, and then in the morning you can take me to that store. Let's do that.
Let me ask you this though first. How much of your head can be a prosthetic? Do they have a whole head you can just pop on your body in case it falls off or something? They got that?
They got ears and tongues.
They got ears and shit and eyeballs. I know they got eyeballs. They got a nose you can just pop on you there.
Just a half of one? Hell,
right.
I'd like to see it.
I'll check it out now. If you take me there, will you take me to your store, please?
I'll sleep at your place. I don't care.
Can I see your eyeball? Can I hold it?
Oh, that happened.
Can I hold your eyeball?
That happened for sure.
I feel like Robert was like, sure, just hit the back of his head, slapped it, and popped out right in his hand like he does it all the time. And he goes, here you go, pal, pop. And just tosses it to him.
Here, catch.
Here you go, poof, like it's a fucking jawbreaker he got out of a machine for a quarter.
There was a car wash here in Phoenix that it was on the news, a guy who was trying to get the news to get him a new eyeball because the men... The man that washed his car found the eyeball in the cup holder and played hacky sack with that shit.
I'm sorry. That's terrible. I know. Yes, I realize.
But would you guess that
it's like midnight and it's hilarious.
Would you guess that guys that wash cars are good at hacky sack? Fuck no, they're not. And they missed it a lot. And it hit the ground a lot. And it was chipped all the fuck.
A lot of super white college kids. Washing cars? No.
It was chipped all the fuck and they put it back.
Oh my God. Here you go. At least they didn't make up a story like, well, we sucked it up into the vacuum and we had to dig it out.
Yeah, I don't know. It bounced all over the place in there.
It was tough. That's hilarious, man. So the glass-eyed man here. So they come in to this apartment. Okay, they enter, the three of them, they're shit-faced. It's morning time, so they were out all night hanging out, and then they bring this guy home, too. So this is just party time for these people. They're hammered. As they enter the apartment, Cynthia Shano's son is there. Well, we should probably also get down to who is there and what's going on. Okay. There is, so we have Charles Lane. He's the stranger who's coming. We have Eyeball. Charles the Robert the Eye Sawyer over here. We have Cynthia Shano, who is the Eye's live-in girlfriend. Right. Or it's her house.
It's his good fortune.
He moved, of course it's not his house. Duh. Jesus Christ. So this is Cynthia Shano's mother's place, but she stays there, okay? With her glass-eyed manslaughtering boyfriend.
Oh, mom's proud.
Okay. Yes. And also in the house when they come home is Frances Arwood, who is a 22-year-old young lady and who is Cynthia Shano's sister-in-law. Okay. She's there babysitting Cynthia Shano's small children. Okay. So they went out bar hopping all night. At least they didn't leave the kids there alone. They had the sister-in-law stay with them. They get home from this. They're all shit-faced. They get home, and immediately they are confronted, I guess you could say. I don't know how much you can a 4-year-old can confront, right. But they run into a 4-year-old named Wayne. He lives there. Yeah. He's not just a random 4-year-old that was wandering down the block. So what the fuck are you doing here? Hey, fuck you, lady. And he stole her necklace and ran away.
This kid wakes up at 1 a.m. or 4 a.m.?
This is like morning time.
Oh, my
God. This
is
like fucking morning.
He's waking up ready for pancakes.
Yeah, well, they come home. Wayne, his name is. Yeah. He tells these 3 drunk idiots, he tells them that the babysitter, Fran as they call her, Fran Arwood, gave his 2-year-old brother, Troy, some pills to make him stop crying. So,
what the fuck?
3 drunk people come home. Everything's happy. They're drunk, laughing. You know how drunk people come in the house. Yeah. They're all happy. I'm sure. They're like, yeah, we didn't get a DUI, and we only killed 3 fucking people on the way home.
I still got my other eye.
Woo, yeah. Maybe I'm going to lose my eye, too. Maybe if I lose the left one, you got the right one. Maybe we could, you know how it goes.
Crazy glue our heads together.
We could stand next to each other, and we'll be an unstoppable force. Maybe we could draw a comic book. Hear me out.
That's how drunks come in the house.
That's how drunks come in the house.
And then the little kid comes out and they're like, hold the comic book.
Yeah, hold the comic book. Wait. And they're like, what if this guy, what if our comic book guy, what if someone gave him pills to make him tired and that's what made him angry? And they just keep going with anything that happens, they add to the story, and it's terrible. And that's what's out there. So...
And that's why I drink.
And that's why we all drink. So I don't drink, actually, but you do.
I do.
You do. So they're all there. They get this is a thing here. Mm-hmm. They're upset, obviously, as you might imagine.
Sure.
Shano, Cynthia, leaves the house for some reason here. We don't know where the fuck she went, but she comes back at 12:30 p.m. She comes back around noon. Don't know where she went.
After she just found out her child ingested pills from the nanny.
Yeah, I don't know if she didn't take him to the emergency room, I'm pretty sure, to make sure that this wasn't anything bad. But when she gets home, Robert, the I, we'll call him, the I and Lane, Charles Lane, and Francis Arwood are in a big argument as this goes on. I don't know if it's over pills. I don't know if it's over what the fuck they're arguing about. This argument continues and escalates, and the I here, Robert Sawyer, pushes Francis's head back against a sofa bed and hit her in the face.
Oh my God.
At this point. So the argument is escalated now to where this man, he's 27 years old at this point. Yeah. He's beating on a 22-year-old woman. Ages don't matter, but I figured I'd throw him out there anyway. He was born in 1951. That's important to know because there's another guy with the exact same name that died in the exact same year that I'm sure gets mixed up a lot. This is the 51 Robert Wayne Sawyer. So anyway, they get there. She's watching this. Shano, as she's watching this happen, her live-in boyfriend is punching her sister-in-law in the face, which is fucking crazy. And Charles Lane is still there too.
That guy's got to be like, y'all, I could leave.
You would see, that's the thing. Yeah. A normal person would be like, oh, check their watch. Wow, I didn't realize it was the light should have alerted me to the fact that it's the next day. I should get the fuck out of here.
12 hours. I'm not invested in this shit. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Is there a payphone near here where I could maybe call the cops? Because this is getting fucking wacky.
You guys ride me back to my T-top car?
Yeah. So now Shano's watching this, and Lane takes a turn and he hits her in the face, punches her.
He's involved now.
So Lane's like, fuck it, I guess in for a penny, in for a pound. You know, it's hard to find good drinking buddies who will take you to their prosthetic store and show you the arms and legs and eyeballs. So when he hits a woman, I'll hit her too, even if I just met her and have no stake in any of this shit. What a fucking idiot.
This is crazy.
So right now it's like, who's the stupider and who's the bigger scumbag out of this whole thing at this point? Like, I don't even know. It's impossible to tell. So he hits her in the face. Lane does. So Sawyer then says, I guess we're fucking her up now.
Oh, boy.
He goes in and starts punching her in the chest. Okay. She tries to get up. It's like a futon type thing, like a sofa bed, they call it. I feel like that's what they're trying to get across, is it's a futon type deal.
Well,
or it's a sleeper bed.
Yeah.
But I don't know what.
It's probably one of those hotel shitty ones. You know
sleeper,
what I mean?
Yeah, something like that, or whatever it is. But she tries to get up. As she tries to get up, Sawyer now takes it to the next level, keeps his eye in somehow while he does it. He kicks her in the chest at that point, knocking her back onto the couch. So now she's tried to get up a couple of times. She's been punched in the face twice, punched in the chest, and kicked in the chest. So I don't think this is your average babysitting job. Like, even Adventures in Babysitting didn't go this fucking wrong.
This is a lot.
Then that was like involved a crime syndicate. Right. So this is crazy shit.
She should have started singing Babysitter Blues.
That's a good one. Yeah, Elizabeth Shue in that movie was good stuff. I had a crush on her when I was a kid.
The beginning scene of that movie is fantastic. As an 8-year-old, that's tuggable
That's
shit.
What I mean.
Yeah.
As a child, I was like, what's happening here? It was her and Alyssa Milano when I was a child, because she was Italian. So I was I was like, even my grandmother will approve of this. Literally, because she's only a few years older than me. I was like, I can make this work. Like, I could find her. My grandma will approve. Or like, Milano, she's a fucking guinea, right? This is going to be perfect. I bet she can make sauce. This is good.
Elizabeth Shue was thinking about it, and then he kissed me, and I was like, I'll do it whenever you want.
It's all right.
I'm right here.
You're 8, and she's 19 and hot.
Let me finish putting my basketball cards in alphabetical order.
Hold on, let me take my Scooby-Doo jammies off real quick and put my tough skins on, and I'll be right over.
Let me pull on these dungarees.
Let me Velcro my shoes tight for the walk, and I'll be right there. Okay, there, sweetheart.
I want to get blisters.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. So at this point, she's on you would assume they want to keep her on the couch at this point, but then Sawyer switches it up and tells her to get up and go wash herself off. Okay. So he did like a Sonny Corleone, go clean yourself up fucking type of deal here. So now Shane, the kids are there, by the way, when this is going on. This is their aunt and babysitter, and they know her, and this is not shit you want your children to see.
No.
Oh, my scumbag one-eyed boyfriend. First of all, the mother, okay, you know what, and people are, if you have one eye, I apologize for all this, but this guy doesn't look like you, I promise you that. This is a separate thing. If you're 4 years old and your mom is, my parents were divorced early, as you know your dad, so whatever, but my mom had boyfriends and shit like that. None of them had a glass eye that looked in the wrong direction. And if they did, I'd be like, Mom, that's fucked up. Where'd you find this guy? Please don't bring him around. And this woman said, oh, no, he's moving in, actually. No, when you wake up in the middle of the night, you go to the bathroom, you might run into that guy in the hallway.
This lunatic that looks like he's been struck by lightning.
Watch out for his pube bush. It'll pull you right in. So it's thorny.
We've got a listener with no eyes. The man's blind. And he's a handsome dude.
Oh, yeah. No, you can be handsome.
And he can't even see himself to put it together. And this fuck's got one eye, and he's a fucking mess.
He's a disaster. And he's got a lot more problems, like involuntarily manslaughtering people and punching young babysitters in the face for really nothing. So he does this. So now he tells her to wash up. Cynthia Shano goes into the bedroom with the kids. And at this point, she hears Lane hitting Arwood. I don't know how she knew it was Lane, but she says it was Lane hitting her. She
screamed his name.
Jesus Christ. I don't know. That's terrible. Charles Lane.
Chuck Lane is beating your ass.
You can call me Chuck. That's terrible, this poor girl. Jesus Christ. But, that's terrible. Well, we're making fun of him, not her. All right, that's fine. Fucking, 'cause he's getting joy out of this. I don't know. Please call me Chuck.
My name's Chuck, and I said I wanted to go to the fucking store.
Please not Chip. I don't like it. Punching on every word. So when Shano comes out of the bedroom after hearing all this hitting going on, she's like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? She comes out. For Christ's sake, I'm trying to watch TV in here. What's happening? She sees the eye here, Sawyer, drag Arwood by the hair into the bathroom.
What in the fuck
is going on? She pops out of the bedroom and she sees dragging a woman by the hair into the bathroom.
Meanwhile, nobody's checked on the 2-year-old that supposedly ingested pills.
No, apparently the 2-year-old's in the room, fine. I think you're probably more worried about the situation of the dragging of the sister-in-law by her hair into the bathroom after your manslaughtering one-eyed boyfriend beat her up along with a scumbag barfly that they met that night. That might be a more pressing concern at this point.
This is so weird.
So she sees that. She ends up seeing Arwood wouldn't get it. They were trying to get her into the bathtub for some reason, so she wouldn't get into the bathtub. And if an adult person doesn't want to get into the bath, I don't know if you've ever tried to put a 2-year-old that doesn't want to get in the bath.
That ain't easy.
It's fucking hard. There's shit to grab onto. It's like an uneven thing. One of those pummel horses. Like they can go around it and pop in and out.
They can get
you little fucker.
They can get leverage on all kinds of points.
And then there's bubbles. They start getting slippery. But an adult that doesn't want to go in a bathtub, that's difficult. They're going to put their arms out. And what are you supposed to do?
Also, in a bathtub, when you're getting forced into one, that's because blood goes down the drain.
Blood or something bad's going to happen unless you're overdosing on heroin and they're trying to put cold water on you.
There's never a good reason to be in the tub if you're dry.
No, especially if it's not voluntary.
Right.
No, I've never had since I've been 3, I've never had a good involuntary bath. I've never had an involuntary bath, but I can't imagine one would be good. Pre-3, it happens, but after 3, all bathing should be voluntary at that point, shouldn't be forced. So if you can't get a grown woman into the bathtub who doesn't want to get into the bathtub, how do you get her into? Well, that's the gentlemanly way to do it. Is you know what? Never mind.
Forget the bath.
I'm sorry I hit you on the head. Can I get you some medical attention?
We should either go our separate ways, or
I apologize,
or you should be at a hospital. Either way,
probably going to end up arrested, aren't I? All right then. That would be the thing there.
A record.
What he does is kick her in the chest, knocking her into the bathtub, and also making her hit her head against the back wall.
Yes. Yeah.
So now shit's gotten real here. And I can't imagine what Shano's thinking, the Cynthia Shano, other than maybe I shouldn't be going out with a one-eyed manslaughter. That'd be one thing. And also maybe shouldn't take that guy from the bar that we just met here either.
We don't know him. That's probably what's going through her head.
Yeah, I don't know this fucking guy. So at this point, Lane here, we're going to call him Chip. Yeah. Old Chip Lane steps up to the plate, and he says they're not a good team, this Lane and Sawyer. Yeah. One does one thing and the other does the opposite. Okay. Like one will make them do something and the other one will say, do the opposite. It's the stupidest good cop, bad cop, terrible cop, fucking worst cop.
They'd
I don't
be
even know what to say.
Teammates on Tug of War.
Oh, they'd be awful. Yeah, they'd be both going the wrong direction. One be going, they'd be tugging with each other. Right. These fucking idiots. So Sawyer kicks her in the chest, knocks her into the tub. Lane then pulls her back out of the tub.
Fuck?
Well, now she's hit her head on the.
Do it again.
Well, yeah, now she's hit her head on the tub, so she's not quite as.
She's a bit woozy.
She's a bit woozy. She's her want to fight is a little bit suppressed now with that whole thing. So what he does after he pulls her out of the tub is Lane starts undressing her. Okay. Now this has nothing to do with pills or if you drugged my baby and it was bad and you are, I might punch you. Like probably not. If it's a woman, I'm probably just going to call the cops.
Probably,
and that's going to be the end of it. I don't think I'm going to start beating her. No, not even one punch, not even a slap. Probably, I'm probably going to yell a little bit.
A dude, I'm going to lose my shit.
A dude's going to be overthrown. But I think a woman, I think I'm going to probably call the police.
I'm going to take a step back because she's a fucking lunatic.
That's the other thing. Yeah. She's probably got a blade on her or something because she drugged the kid.
Crazy.
But this woman here, we don't know if she drugged this kid. By the way, we have no idea.
That's a good point.
She could have gave this kid a fucking Tic Tac and said like, these are some pills that'll make you stop crying.
We're taking the word of a 4-year-old right now.
This is the thing though. Like you tell kids bullshit. I remember my aunt's ex-boyfriend used to tell my little brother that the tree outside, it was a palm tree, was a cookie tree. Okay. And he'd go out there and he'd put a bunch of cookies up in it and he'd shake it and fucking cookies would fall down. And my little brother, I should have known that something was going to be wrong with him. He's fine now, but I predicted bad things. So I was worried about him from the start with the cookie tree. But if you told a kid, kids will believe anything. And if you gave a kid a Tic Tac and you said, these are magic pills that will make you not cry anymore and it'll make you feel better and make you want to go to sleep, a kid would take it and then they'd go, they gave me these magic pills, and it's placebo effect.
Right.
So we don't know. Or she could have gave the kid a couple of Benadryls. We have no fucking idea, or worse, or who the hell knows what she gave him. Sure. But we don't, or she could have gave him nothing. And the 4-year-old could have made it up.
We got a 4-year-old.
We have no idea.
That's whose word we're trusting right
and
now.
we're not really sure of the veracity of the 4-year-old. This might be a shitty 4-year-old. Right. We have no fucking idea if this 4-year-old's any good.
Could be my 4-year-old.
He could be a shit 4-year-old. Yeah, so we have no idea here. So Lane now has pulled her out of the bathtub, just a quick catch up, and now he's undressed her. And then he closes the bathroom door. The bathroom door is closed for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
With a semi-conscious naked woman who's been forcefully undressed
and a man that we've known for 12 hours.
While we were drunk. But I don't. Who knows if they even remember his fucking name at this point, or if they just is that Chip? I think he said. So while Lane is in the bathroom with her for 20 minutes, Sawyer, I don't know if they planned this or if they're now they've gotten to be like a real what's the fucking
Starsky and Hutch?
Not Starsky and Hutch, the dancers from back. Never mind. Fuck me. It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know.
Who cares at this point? It doesn't fucking matter. See, when you go for a reference, if it takes more than one, it doesn't matter anymore. It's gone. So, fuck it. Who cares? It's too late. So anyway, while they're in there, this genius over here, this fucking guy, the eyeball is in the kitchen boiling water. He is boiling water in the kitchen. So what's he making, mac and cheese now, or what the fuck is happening?
Top ramen.
That's probably actually that's more like it. You can get like 8 top ramens for the price of a box of mac and cheese.
That's true.
You know what I mean? He's got to save up for a new eyeball so he can get himself.
That currency checks out.
You know how it is. Yeah, that's how it works here. So, let's get our laughing in now because it's about to get very not funny.
Okay.
So he then goes into the bathroom.
With the boiling water.
And also he's got detergent. He's got like clothing detergent, like Tide or whatever. He pours the detergent on Frances's head. He starts pouring detergent on her for some reason, and then pours the hot water on top of that, on top of the detergent, I suppose, to quote clean her for some reason, because he told her to wash up and she didn't want to wash up apparently, so he
cleansed her on his
drug her into the bathtub, kicked her into it to quote wash her up, and then this
melted her skin off.
Lane has his own ideas of, well, shit, I mean, she's semi-conscious, I can take her pants right off, and there's that, and then, while this guy's got a whole other agenda of, I told this bitch to be clean, damn it, and I'm gonna fucking pour detergent and boiling water on her like a fucking maniac psychopath.
None of these actions make any fucking sense.
None of this makes any sense. This is what I mean. None of this makes any sense. It's fucking insane. So he does this. As this happens, Lane starts pushing Frances's head under the water in the tub and punching her with her. So he's like putting her head in and pulling it out, putting her head and pulling it out, and punching her intermittently also.
My Christ.
So put her head in for a while, pull it out, punch her a couple times, put her back in the. This is fucking horrible.
Bananas behavior.
This is CIA fucking. This is like
doesn't make any sense.
This is black site Turkmenistan CIA behavior. This is batshit.
Based on a 4-year-old's information.
Based on a 4-year-old's intelligence. Right. This is This is the invasion of Iraq in the beginning, the original invasion here, based on very faulty intelligence from a 4-year. That's really. You want to know why we're in Iraq right now? The faulty intelligence from a 4-year-old. A 4-year-old Iraqi child told Dick Cheney on a special envoy visit over there that Saddam had some shit, and they said, well, that's indisputable.
You sure it wasn't one of the first graders at George Bush's book reading that was like,
he might have whispered it in his ear. We'll never know.
There are so many weapons of mass destruction.
You never know. It's possible. We don't know. But this 4-year-old, it gets around with him. He also put John Gotti away. It wasn't Sammy the Bull. It was this kid that testified against him. He's got a lot of information, this kid here. So
turned state witness at 4.
That's what I mean. He doesn't care. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't even go into the protection program. He said, you know what? You don't need to fucking protect me.
I'm little Timmy. I'll be at fucking elementary school.
You don't need to protect me, guy. Listen, hey, guy. he's just manipulative. He didn't like Francis, so he's like, they gave him some pills or something. Yeah, that's the ticket to pills. Yeah, they gave the kid pills, and I think he croaked. I'm not sure. You might want to kick your fucking ass. I'm not positive.
They could have made Problem Child so much better if they'd have yanked that little ginger out and put a crazy Italian kid in there.
That would have been great. That would have been amazing.
Just fucking up John Ritter all day.
Hey, Jack Tripper, let me ask you a question real quick, all right?
Hey, Jack, you trip over a fucking ottoman today yet?
You banging Chrissy? Huh? Let me ask you that, huh? I know you're not banging Janet because, nobody wants to bang her. She's always whining and fucking complaining.
So short.
But she was banging Chrissy, wouldn't you? Wasn't you? Be honest. Come on. What are you doing? Get the fuck out of here. Don't lie to me. I'm 4 fucking years old. I don't know. You don't lie to a 4-year-old when he's standing in front of you.
Janet's got a Subaru in a parking space, doesn't she? I know she does.
You know what's happening.
Yeah, I know what's going on with her.
Get the fuck out of here. I know what's happening. Why are you lying to me? That's what I mean. What do you think? I was born fucking yesterday? Almost. Close. I'm 4, but not quite. That's
several yesterdays ago, but listen.
Several yesterdays ago.
Where's the Nilla wafers?
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about TrueCar.
TrueCar.com.
Here are some useful car tips you might not be aware of.
Yeah.
A coffee filter and a little bit of olive oil can clean your interior.
That's handy.
Removing excess weight from your car will improve your gas mileage.
What?
And you can place your key fob in your chin to increase its range.
I did know that.
Weird, right? That's weird stuff. I actually have heard that too. Well, here's another tip you might not know about. TrueCar also helps people get good used cars.
That's true.
They really do. I'm telling you that right now from personal experience because we bought a used car through TrueCar.
Right.
And it was a great experience. Found the car we wanted. Got it at a great price. It was at the dealership when I went there, ready to go.
There it is.
It was the best, easiest way I've ever bought a car in my life. TrueCar isn't just for buying new cars. With their certified dealer network and nationwide inventory of nearly 1 million used cars, you'll enjoy real pricing on actual inventory and a simpler buying experience, whether you buy new or used. And with TrueCar, users can see what others paid, so they know if they're getting a good deal before buying. They're also more likely to enjoy a faster buying experience by connecting with TrueCar certified dealers. When you're ready to buy a new or used car, check out TrueCar and enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features are not available in all states.
Yeah, that's true. At TrueCar.com. And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, if you like our show, you're not going to want to miss Beyond the Darkness here on Podcast One. It's a weekly look at all things paranormal with world-renowned researchers and experiencers. They challenge everything we think we know about ghosts, ghouls, angels, demons, aliens, monsters, and more. So check out Beyond the Darkness weekly on Podcast One, podcastone.com, and Apple Podcasts. Also, please remember to rate and review.
Those rates and reviews are very, very important. Go listen. And now back to the show.
Oh, my God. All right, let's get back to terribleness.
Okay.
So this is fucking vile so far. Yeah. And it somehow gets more vile.
It's just the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
These two are like coming up with, I don't even know, like there's no flow to this. Yeah. There's no like... Someone tried to hit me and I tried to hit them, and then they came at me with a knife and I knocked it out of their hand, and I saw a fucking gun and I shot them. Like, there's no flow to it. There's like, we do this, then what do we do? It's like a wrestling match where an involuntary wrestling match where they're like in between moves considering what to do now. Like, I guess I'll throw them against the ropes. Like, it's what the fuck is happening?
And now let's get out of the ring and go into a hallway.
Yeah, they're going to get her out of the tub because they had her in the tub holding her underwater and punching her and everything else. They pull her out of the bathtub. She resists here. She hits Sawyer. She hits the eye over here. He screams out loud because I guess she hurt him. Like this fucking asshole.
Watch it. That's my only one left.
He holds his other eye. Whenever anybody gets mad at him, he just puts his hand over his good eye just to keep it in there. And he kicks her in the chest. When he kicks her in the chest, she falls back, and her head hits either the windowsill or the bathtub, and she knocks her out.
He's a limber sumbitch.
Yeah, so he's kicking people in the chest a lot. That's his go-to fucking move. If it's the 70s, I feel like he saw too many Bruce Lee movies, and he's finally getting to try it out.
I'm like John McCain, though. Like, I can't lift my leg above my knee.
Can't do it. He's been wanting to try these moves out in like a bar or something, but he's a pussy. So now he has a 22-year-old fucking woman babysitter who he's going to fucking beat up on like an asshole. So she's unconscious. She's knocked out from this. Hits her head, knocks her out. So Chip Lane and the eyeball Sawyer carry her into the living room and drop her face down on the floor unceremoniously. And you're laughing out of everybody if you're new to the show. Jimmy is laughing out of pure uncomfort or discomfort and
the bad wrestling team name.
That's the other thing. Yeah, they're a tag team.
Chip Lane and the
There's
Chip Lane and the Eye Sawyer.
Everybody on Twitter, there's your assignment for the week. Come up with the worst tag team name for these two fucking dildos you can come up with. These two complete assholes. So they drop her face down on the floor. Chip at this point starts kicking her in the ribs for some reason, even though she's unconscious, face down on the floor. Yeah. No reason to be. She didn't. I don't understand where this is coming from. So then Sawyer, while he's okay, Lane is kicking Chip. Sorry, Chip is kicking her in the ribs while the eyeball there is walking on her back. For some reason, I don't know if it's to hold her down or what the fuck is going on here. Walking on her back. Then Sawyer goes and gets a leather belt. And beats her with that also. So I mean, it's like they're just coming up with new ideas. Like, what do we do now? Fucking idiots. They then put her on a sofa, back onto the sofa bed, where they started. Let's get back to basics here. This whole time, by the way, I failed to mention, Cynthia Shano is screaming and freaking out for them to stop doing this. Because imagine, like we said, all of this that we just described, there is a woman, her sister-in-law, Francis's sister-in-law, who trusts this Francis enough to
be with her children,
be with her fucking children, and must like her to some extent, or at least consider her family, that they're beating and doing all this too. So she's freaking out the whole time. They're completely ignoring her, like it's, like whatever, just not even, she's not even there. Jesus Christ, this gets so bad here. They put her here. She has Cynthia Shano screaming for them to stop. She's freaking out. She then covers Francis with a blanket, covers her up. I don't know why.
Her body or just her head? Or
she's alive, Francis, but she covers as much as she can with the blanket. I don't know if she's trying to help her, trying to keep her warm. If it's like the blanket's like some sort of, maybe they won't mess with her. If she puts exactly. Like maybe that's what, I don't know what she's trying to do. So then Cynthia Shano goes into the bathroom because she's so nauseous. She goes into the bathroom to throw up,
of course,
which is what a sane person would do in this situation after they called the police. I would say first and foremost, call the police and say that you're manslaughtering one-eyed boyfriend.
Why hasn't that
and some other jerk off named Chip is doing this here. So while she's in the bathroom, she hears Sawyer tell Chip that they're having a conversation. This is what I mean. They're like having like a one-upsmanship of who can be a bigger fucking asshole. Sawyer tells Chip, quote, "I'll show you how cruel I can be." Okay. No, it's like a cruelty contest. This is turned into. These people are fucking vile. So Cynthia returns from the bathroom when she hears that. Obviously, she's like, "Oh boy, I better fucking intervene here." Wow. When she comes back into the room, she sees smoke.
There's now fire
coming from Francis's face.
Oh boy.
And Francis's legs are now open.
Oh boy.
Okay. Lane, this is probably one of the sickest things we've ever encountered. This puts shovel rape in the back seat. Lane is laughing. Okay. Laughing. This isn't even like an anger thing. This is fun for this fucking lunatic. Okay. He's laughing and he tells Cynthia, by the way, this isn't something that you're like, hey, this isn't a fucking story that happened to you down at the bar. This is crazy. Laughing, and tells her that he burned his dick. He thinks it's hilarious. He burned his dick because he was raping her while Sawyer set her on fire.
Oh, my God.
So, isn't that funny?
What the fuck?
Hilarious, huh? This coming from us, we have pretty dark senses of humor. That is not a time for laughter.
That's crazy.
That is a time to fucking kill yourself.
Set her on fire while that guy was raping her.
And and the guy raping her thought it was hilarious. You burned my dick. Ha ha ha.
What the fuck?
Set her on fire while I was trying to rape her. What a
I'm blown away. There's nothing crazier. There's nothing been more disgusting.
No,
so
this
far.
is a leg breaking.
Yeah.
This is the most horrific.
That's gross.
Even the hot sauce bottle.
Yeah.
Somehow was not
Backseat.
this.
Yeah.
This. Wow, I'm disgusted with these fucking people right now. As everybody out there, I don't think there's if you're not disgusted with these fucking people, you have a problem. There's something wrong with you. I don't know what to say. That's all I can say. So Sawyer had set her on fire.
Right.
That's his idea here. So now at this point, they sit around, Sawyer, and I guess they're tired, bored.
Sure.
They can't think of anything else to do to this fucking poor woman.
How far can you go outside of set her on fire while I rape her?
Well, they sat around listening to Elvis records.
Yeah, that's
to
what I
Elvis
do.
records,
Yeah.
which, if this couldn't be any more of a nightmare for this Frances, who, by the way, is alive.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
This poor woman is alive.
Yeah.
To have all of this going on, but to the fucking soundtrack of Elvis, which is I fucking despise Elvis and every chord he's ever fucking put out, every note he's ever sang or sung or whatever. I hate him.
In quotey quotes.
In quotey quotes. I hate his fucking quote movies. I hate all that horse shit. Oh, that is the worst. Anyway. Taylor Swift 1955 edition.
The best
Fuck
thing
him.
ever is Eddie Murphy making fun of him. That's the
it's great. I love that so much. Yes, black people have at it with Elvis. He stole from you and you should be angry.
You deserve to hate him
forever. You should be angry.
Yeah.
So back to this awfulness here. They lounged around, hung out. They're like, what do we do now? They're like, what are we going to do with her?
Yeah.
Like, she's, been burned and she's unconscious and we've done all that we can really do. Right. What are we supposed to do? So they just thought about it for a while. So long they thought about it that Lane fell asleep next to her. She's burned.
It's like 3 p.m. now.
She's been beaten severely about the head and face. She's one big bruised mess that's been burned with burn marks all over. And he's like, I'm just going to sidle up next to you.
I need a nap.
Take a little nap here, boy.
Well,
wow.
He did come. I get it.
Yeah, he's tired. He's very tired. He had a long day.
Right.
When you burn your dick, you want a nap afterwards. So it's at this point, it's 12:30 in the afternoonish. Cynthia Shano's sister and her nephew come over to the house to visit. This isn't a good time for company.
What the fuck
Put it
is
that
going
way.
on?
So they come. The nephew keeps knocking and knocking and knocking. It's a kid, not accepting, not home as an answer. So Sawyer gives Cynthia Shano the key, because you need a key to get out of this door, the key to open the door, and she runs out screaming to her relatives. She incomprehensibly is just fire and dick burns and there's there's an eyeball rolling around and there's cat hair on it.
Bananas.
It's fucking nuts. Nobody knows what the hell she's talking about. No one can see what's going on until the sister and nephew look inside and see Francis sitting there, obviously not in in her best shape. She's not ready for the prom at the moment.
Right.
She's beaten and bloodied and blistered and burned. And they see Sawyer. They see this cocksucker with his feet propped up on the couch, just lounging,
just chilling,
hanging out like nothing, like he's watching football, just with some chips on his chest.
Hi, y'all. Welcome.
Hey, well, the game's on. Now the Tech games, Louisiana Tech games on, is going to be good. I think we're going to be good this year.
Saints are coming up next.
I'll just move her aside. It's fine.
Archie Manning's
she don't care.
Be reckoned with.
Put her on the floor. It don't matter. She ain't bothered. What the fuck? If y'all set her on fire or nothing, you can do that too. Just don't burn your dick, because Chip found that out, right, Chip? That's right. That was hilarious, wasn't it? Fucking assholes. So
how's that 79 Bush now, sir?
Jesus Christ. So it's at this point that Shano is now calling police because, now
Thank
she can.
God.
She's calling police and emergency and paramedics and everything. So Frances is taken to the West Jefferson Hospital. She arrives at the hospital in a coma. She has third degree burns all over her body, pretty much her whole body, cuts on her chin, all over her face, swelling of the face and neck and brain and everything else. Lane and Sawyer were both arrested, obviously. They're sitting there with their feet up next to the fucking girl. Right. They get arrested. They're told of their Miranda rights, obviously. When police get there, they were like, I would think they'd say, who did that?
Right.
What happened? Those two with their feet propped up. Oh, yeah, well, come on there.
Half bush and one eye.
And one's going, you wait till you hear about my dick burned, and it's hilarious. And they're like, yeah, sure, as they cuff him and fucking whack his head into the car.
Great story for you of how I got these blisters on my dick.
I really hope they didn't fucking push their heads down into the car. I really hope they let them fucking smash their heads.
Skip that
several
whole
times.
Watch your head part.
Yeah, this is the, I hope there was a lot of potholes on the way to the fucking station here for these assholes to go over, because that shit apparently hurts.
I'm told.
Judging by The Wire from what they've told me. You should watch The Wire. I don't know if I've ever told you that. You know what? Fuck that. You don't deserve The Wire. Never mind. Stop telling Jimmy to watch The Wire. He doesn't deserve it. It's too good for him. So, Lane.
What we could have had, Steve
What we
Earle.
could have had. Damn it. See, you and Steve Earle could have been romantic and everything else. You could have longed for him in a sexual manner.
He is wonderful.
He is wonderful.
He is.
So Chip over here signs a right of arrestee form and gives a statement admitting that he was present, but stating that he was only there to try to assist Frances. That was his only...
That's what Chip says.
That's it. I was just there to try to help her.
I listen, we were out drinking, and he said, my sister-in-law's back at the house, and he's like, I should go assist.
Actually, what happened was he was at home, and he saw the signal go up in the sky. Yep. It was the Chip signal.
Right.
He busted ass on over there.
The friend assist signal,
He kicked that door in. Problem was, he was just about to save her, but his cape got caught in the door when it closed behind him. It was a real shame. He couldn't get it open.
So he's stuck there while Sawyer's beating the piss out of this woman.
He said, well, my dick's close enough. I guess I could burn it. This piece of shit. That's his thing.
That's his story.
So
Captain Save-A-Ho. That's going to be his defense.
That's the defense he's got here. Okay. It's better than the white trash one from Phillips, Oklahoma. Although they should probably have used that defense when you hear what happened.
Pretty close.
So it's fucking real close. So November 21st, 1979. This is 2 months later. Okay. Frances has been in a coma this entire time.
2 months.
2 months in a coma.
Unbelievable.
Okay, and they have them arrested, but they don't have them arrested on murder because she's still alive. Well, November 21st, 1979, she dies.
God damn it.
The cause of death was significant brain damage from blunt head injury and extensive burns over most of her body, which is fucking insane. Sawyer and Lane here, this fucking the worst tag team in the history of wrestling, were rebooked now and formally charged with first-degree murder, obviously. And Lane's like, what do you mean? I was just trying to help. My cape. Remember I told y'all?
I got...
fucking, they're like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So
I got to drop the dry cleaners now. Did you see the door jams? They're all dirty.
Forget it. Oh, see what happens? My cape's all messed up. I got to look sharp when I'm solving crimes. So at that time here, Lane, now that they arrest him, this is what doesn't make sense too. They're like, okay, now it's murder. Yeah. So Lane says, okay, I had sexual intercourse with her.
Oh boy.
That's what he says now. While she was in the bathtub, but he denies anything to do with beating her or anything that would injure her.
He raped her twice.
He said, yes, he raped her twice.
Oh my God.
One time he was on fire. When they first, this is amazing. They first tell him that they brought him in for booking. They from the jail area, they bring him into the booking area, and they asked him that he asked why he was being brought there, and the deputy explained that he was being rebooked for first-degree murder. He asked whether the girl had died or not, and the police officer responded, well, yes, she did. As a matter of fact, that's what murder is, dummy.
Where that comes from.
You dumb fuck. Your dick must be in your brain because it got burned, or your brain must be in your dick because you got burned. Then Lane says, well, let me tell you what happened. Well, let me tell you something. Right. Let me tell you what happened. Right. Now, what had happened was...
I got a story for you.
Yeah, I got something now. The deputy, because he's not like the investigator. Right. He's literally the intake guy.
It's just the guy that's transporting.
He's literally the guy just doing his paperwork. Right. Like, yes, you're rearrested for this, and here you go, and process him, and they mugshot him and the whole deal. He's what that guy does. That's all he's doing. This guy repeatedly tells Lane that don't say anything. Don't tell me shit. He doesn't want to fucking know. Right. He doesn't want to have to do the paperwork. He doesn't want to have to tell anybody. He doesn't want to be involved. Right. He's just doing paperwork. He's like, fucking don't tell me. Don't do shit.
Just give me your fingerprints and go the fuck back to your cell.
Lane insists that he needs to tell this man what happened, even though this guy repeatedly says, I have nothing to I have nothing to fucking do with this, and B, that's bad for you. Stop doing it.
Don't do this.
Don't do this. He says, no, I need to tell somebody. He said, quote, he wanted somebody to understand that he did not do anything to the girl as far as hitting her, and that Mr. Sawyer did it all. That's what the cop said that this guy explained to him. Lane stated, quote, all I did was top her in the bathtub. Ugh. First of all, I've never heard that as a term for sex, and if I ever do again, I'm definitely going to throw up. Like, without a doubt, I'm not going to eat for a fucking day and a half if someone says, oh, I'm going to top her good. I'm going to fucking puke. Wow.
That's worse than that whole Jewish shtup thing. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
Did you see High Spirits?
No.
Where the fucking hotel is haunted and I
didn't see that.
Fucking spirit. It's an 80s movie.
Anyway, I'm surprised. I'm surprised how the hell I missed that. I saw the rest of the shit from the 80s.
One of the ghosts is talking about it's Boogie Night or some shit like that, and he's chasing his fucking wife around that he's gonna bang. He's gonna bang a ghost. They're both ghosts. Whatever.
Ghost fucking?
Right. Ghost fucking. And when I was a kid, I was like, that's gross.
That's
gross. Basically what he was doing, was raping his wife on prison. Or on prison. No, on his wedding night.
It's basically the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, where they just chase a woman around to presumably rape her and sell her off as in the other line of fucked up ride.
Well, I guess that's better than...
kids, that's what white slavery looks like.
I guess that's better than the girl chasing the guy and he's got a cake. Like that part. They delete that from the ride.
Yeah, I remember hearing. Yeah, that was a little different.
Because the heavyset hooker, right?
So the deputy, luckily, like a normal person, didn't know what the fuck that meant, because that seems like some weird scumbag bayou term for fucking. He said, quote, what do you mean by topping? Did you have you mean you had sex with her? And Lane responded, yes. Yeah. So Then now the deputy's asking some questions, because this is getting curious now. So Lane gives several more statements. At this point, not being advised of his Miranda rights, because they're presumably that
he's
whatever.
Heard it.
Yeah. So now the trial judge, when they go to trial, Lane does anyway, because they have separate trials. He rules that the first part of the statement was freely and voluntarily given, but he also ruled that any statements made beyond his explanation of topping would be inadmissible. So topping is the cutoff for anything past topping. He's going to tell that means fucking. Anything else he said, not going to include that. So only that part. So that was how that ended up happening here. So June of 1980 is the trial for Charles Lane. He's tried for murder. Surprise, surprise, he's convicted. They didn't buy that he was there to help, and he was just a superhero in disguise as a fucking rapist and murderer. He's sentenced.
Superheroes just.
Shocking.
Superhero disguised as a rapist.
As a rapist, that's it. He's like, I got my raping outfit on today.
Like, where was that one at, Batman?
This is my rape cape. You don't know
Shouldn't
about
have
that?
had a cape on, Batman.
His cape has a big R on the back of it, and you're just like, that's not right. That's terrible.
Holy shit.
That is awful.
Rape man.
Luckily, though, he is convicted, and this guy deserves it. You, sir, may certainly fuck off.
In Louisiana?
Sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Good.
So he's done. Charles Lane, we can put him on a shelf. He does have an appeal that we're going to talk about, though. But for now, he's on the shelf.
For now, he's fucking off.
Now he's fucking off. Now we get to the interesting part. The trial of Sawyer, who is the one-eyed bandit over here. Yeah, the one-eyed bandit that does not pay off ever. Never pays out. That's the only difference. Witnesses testify here that Charles Lane and he assaulted the woman. It's basically Cynthia is testifying. Sawyer accused the woman of drugging one of the children there. That was the thing that comes out in court. Obviously, that warrants it. Cynthia, who is now his ex-girlfriend, shocking, she dumped him after that performance. She testified that Sawyer acted completely callous and played Elvis Presley records while he and Lane raped, kicked, and punched her, which sounds awful to a jury. If a horrified woman who's up there, or anybody is up there telling this horrible story and being emotional about it and being upset by it, and then they're telling you that kind of detail, you're going to hate that fucking guy, and rightfully so.
Stomping a young woman to jailhouse rock, you fucking jerk.
They also she talks about pouring coffee grounds on her before the detergent, like he was just pouring shit on her with the water and the scalding water, the whole deal. Now, there is wow, okay. We'll talk about this whole thing here. This is an article, and I can't give you the article title yet because it'll give something away. It's an informal report to colleagues by a guy named Robert Persky. Okay, so this is like I digging deep, like legal paper basically that I found about this case that some guy wrote here, and they're talking about here
it's
how
not a newspaper article.
No. This is like a
undercover, like a journal entry,
kind of, but it's for colleagues. It's like a legal thing. Okay. It's like a legal brief type thing, or like a
today's equivalent of an intra-company email,
kind of. But it's like the case study type of thing of like this is what happened here, and like added into this bigger group of shit.
Shit you shouldn't have, James.
Shit I shouldn't find, but I do because I'm an asshole. So they talk about here the court appointed the prosecution is calling Sawyer a sociopath. That's their whole thing here. They say he has an involuntary manslaughter. That comes back up. That's relevant at this point, so they can bring that up in court. The court appoints a, quote, sanity commission, which I find hilarious. Sanity commission of 2 doctors. Each spent less than 30 minutes with Sawyer. They didn't do any tests or anything like that. They just talked to him, and they testified that Sawyer was competent to stand trial, and he was, quote, a probable sociopathic individual and a, quote, sadist. So the defense lawyer at this point, he kind of just went along with it because he didn't have anything to dispute it or refute it. He didn't do anything to really investigate the mental condition or his background or anything like that. He said, quote, I don't know. This is what the lawyer said in the penalty phase later on. He'll say, quote, I don't know what I can say for Robert Sawyer. He is a poor, miserable human being. He's had a hell of a life. He was involved in a heinous act. Like Dr. Armisen told you, he is probably a sociopath. That's what this fucking his lawyer said. His lawyer said that.
The man's got one eye.
He's got one. Look at him. Now here we're going to come into, this is a weird case because this is a case of I want to strangle the life out of this man with my bare hands. I want to choke him till his good eye pops out and then fucking watch him take his last breath because this fucking piece of shit, you can't have this guy around. You just can't. Like this, anyone who you just can't. That's anyone who has this capacity for shit. I mean, this is like there's horrible serial killers that people talk about incessantly that's not half as bad as this shit. What they did. He just didn't get a chance to do it to a ton of people. Is the only difference. The jury they actually tried to the prosecution tried to make him out like a Ted Bundy type. But what ends up happening in this whole thing, it's infuriating because the legal system sucks and I want to kill this guy at the same time. So it really, really racks your brain and makes you crazy. And it's also a little bit hilarious. So, a lot of bit. Okay. So, anyway, they did that. They said, one attorney, Jesus Christ, one attorney in the prosecution described, Sawyer as, quote, being, quote, awfully slow on the uptake about understanding what went on around him. So he wasn't very bright, we'll just say here. So the verdict comes down September 21st, 1980.
They said slow on the uptake.
Slow on the uptake.
In court.
Yeah, that was, and they were like, that's fine. No worries.
That's what my uncle used to say to me whenever I did something stupid.
A little slow on the uptake, boy. Yeah,
when I was gullible.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So the jury is 8 men and 4 women. They deliberate for 2 hours. I don't know what the fuck took them 2 hours. They must be terrible at paperwork because that would take me 3 seconds to convict this asshole. There's a woman up there going, yeah, I watched him set a woman on fire while another man was raping her. Then he put his fucking feet up and listened to Elvis for a while. I don't know how you're not jumping out of the jury box going, fuck this guy.
Did I mention he took the time to boil water?
Yeah, he thought about it and was like, I'm going to boil some water now. That takes a while. A pot of water?
A lot of water?
A lot.
A long time.
10 minutes, 12 minutes.
You boiled spaghetti lately?
Yeah, it takes a while.
Fucking ever. It takes longer to boil the water than it does to make the fucking noodles.
It does. This is ridiculous. So they after 2 hours, they return a verdict of guilty. Thank fuck. Later on, they come back in the penalty phase, and they have a penalty that they have thought of for him, and that is, you, sir, may fuck off to the electric chair.
Fantastic.
They have said they are going to put him
set you on fire
in the electric chair, where he just may catch on fire, including his dick. So under this state's capital punishment law in 1980, the jury that convicts a person must choose between, if it's first-degree murder conviction, either death or life in prison. That's what it is. Somehow they chose life in prison for Lane, which blows my fucking mind how he got that out of that. But the trial judge
he might be worse of a person.
Probably.
Showing up to people's house you don't fucking
know. You don't even know these
and then
people.
You just participate in that shit?
At least if this guy was like out of his mind and he thought he was defending the kid, which that is well beyond defending the kid, obviously.
But also,
he didn't just snap her neck like Steven Seagal and be like, "How dare you kill my kid?" Like he fucking tortured her. That was
but
he was
they may have a
shit.
history too. You know what I mean? Because he has a girlfriend and
you don't
she's
fucking
related
know
to him.
exactly.
You don't know what the fucking history is between them.
Yep.
Lane fucking just pops in, is like, "I'll put my dick in her."
Yeah, and then what are we doing here?
Against
Setting her on fire?
will?
Cool.
Let's do it.
Sweet.
What the fuck?
Dope. Fire it up.
Kill him too.
Fucking ridiculous. Yeah, that'd be good. So the weird thing is the trial judge is bound by the jury's decision. Normally the judge has a discretion here, and here they don't, or a lot of states they do. The date hasn't been decided yet. 1982 is Lane's appeal, and he has a number of different, ineffective assistance of counsel. You go down the usual list. One of them was he contends the trial court erred in introducing gruesome photographs of the victim into evidence. No, he argues that the photographs should have been excluded because of their lack of probative value and their prejudicial effect on the jury, which is a common thing we find. And if you do horrible shit, they're going to take pictures of it, and guess what? They're going to show it to the people who are deciding what the fuck to do with you. I think that's fair, honestly. Guess what you could have done to not have that happen? Not do shit that will be photographed in a fucking heinous, vicious way. How about that? That's something.
It's hard sometimes in a court of law to get across exactly how fucking bad it is that was occurred.
Look at that.
Right.
Yeah.
Have a gander. You know how I said she was a little fire? Mind? Have a gander at this shit.
Boom.
There you go.
You know what else, too? You can take a picture and show it to a jury of every person I've ever met in my life, and none of them have been on fire.
Never.
Not from me, anyway.
Not
on my watch. So I don't give a fuck. Show all the pictures you want. So I've never done that. They say that the evidence...
I did set my neighbor's bush on fire.
Well, that's going to happen.
It was an actual bush in his front yard.
Show a picture of that bush. Yeah, it wasn't actually on his body. It wasn't this giant 70s coif bush.
It was because they shot a firecracker and it went in his front yard.
Yeah, we've all burned down a bush or two. Let's be realistic here.
Just not on my friend's dick. Not that bush.
We used to make fucking bombs out of packs of firecrackers with the gunpowder when I was a teenager. We were lunatics. So yeah, trust me, fire.
You do loony shit.
Yeah, we actually did that when we were children. We were out of our fucking minds.
At all.
Yeah, that's what you did when you were 13. I want to blow something up.
Right.
Nowadays, that you can't do that at all. But it was charming when I was a teenager. It was
a story that you told at school, and they were like, "You heard what Jimmy did? He's fucking crazy."
It was considered boys will be boys back then. It was one of those things. So.
I love that phrase.
We didn't blow up property or anything.
My brother and
let's get a watermelon and blow it up and fucking hide behind plastic.
We had an orange tree in our backyard. We were throwing oranges at a man mowing his lawn next fucking door.
That'll never come back to you. That's a criminal mastermind right there, Jimmy. You're as much of a criminal mastermind as these two fucking geniuses.
We drilled him with them, obviously.
Christ. I would hope so.
And he came to my house and told my parents.
Again, not shocking. Everything you've told me is not surprising.
I got in trouble, but it was a light beating because he told my stepfather
the oranges were delicious. He told him
boys will be boys.
That's the thing. Yeah, as long as you don't destroy things when you're a teenage boy. I was like,
citrus,
yeah, that's fine. Kids do that shit. You know what I mean? Nobody died. That's how people used to be, though.
We thought there was a fence between us, so there's no way he'll know.
He doesn't know who lives over there. There's a fence.
There's a wood fence. You can see through it.
He'll never penetrate the fence and come over here and talk to my fucking parents.
We were idiots.
So they say here, the evidence forming the basis of the defendant's argument is 4 color photographs of the victim's face and body after she'd been burned and beaten. While the photographs are unpleasant, they are not so gruesome that they would overwhelm reason. The photographs corroborated the testimony of the examining physicians, the pathologist, and Cynthia Shano, know. They also established the identity of the victim, intended to show the use of unnecessary force and violence by the perpetrators. Yeah. Exactly. That's what they're trying to show. They're trying to show how fucking horrific it was, you dumb fuck. So,
he's
shockingly,
like, 4 jurors threw up. That's not fair.
That ain't right.
Well, yeah, they're wondering why didn't fucking you.
Probably bad for you, I would say. If jurors are throwing up, that's a bad sign for you, I would say. You shouldn't have done something that made them throw up, stupid. So they deny that his appeal, and they tell Lane to fucking hit the bricks, and Lane is done. He is in prison, life without parole.
That's it.
Fuck off, lock the key. Angola, motherfucker,
Great.
Enjoy. So
that's a tough one.
That's a tough one, yeah.
Oh, boy.
I think he's dead by now, Lane. Okay. There was conflicting reports on his death, so it's a weird
possible,
thing.
Or
it's
maybe
possible,
he's not.
yeah. Because I found another, and Charles Lane's a common name, and 30 years later, I don't know what he looks like.
Maybe he's been raped.
40 years later, I hope he's been fucking raped.
Wouldn't that be great?
God, I hope he's been raped and set on fire. That would be. That's how I hope he died. Set aflame while being raped
during a prison riot, like a horrible event.
Yeah,
and he's just
like Adebisi style too. Like he was like whoever was raping him was enjoying it. Really like having a good time, like whooping like a cowboy and shit. That's what I hope happens.
My dick's on fire.
Fuck this guy. Yeah. And I'm not even okay with prison rape.
No.
I don't think prisons are places we send people. We're not sentencing them to rape.
No.
Like it shouldn't be a wild jungle in there where people are raping each other and that shouldn't be how it is. But this guy,
sometimes it is.
I feel like I would assign him the largest rapist you have as a cellmate. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Richard Speck's ending of his life is fucking beautiful. I love it.
Good.
I love everything that happened to him.
He's a fucking
and this
asshole.
is the same thing. I hope something terrible happened to him.
So May of 1984 is Sawyer's appeal. On the other hand, here, Assistant Jefferson Parish District Attorney said that the state was responding to various defense claims of ineffective assistance of counsel, failure to object to certain witnesses, lack of preparation, and violations of Sawyer's right to testify. Apparently, the lawyers told him don't testify, which any lawyer worth your salt, he's a fucking idiot, first of all, as we'll talk about. Yeah. And on top of that, he's got an eye that's going over here. He looks like a fucking psychopath. You don't put this guy in front of the jury and have him be like, I raped her, but she gave the kid some pills, I think. Like, that's not going to be, that is not going to work here.
Your face is already bad enough, sir. Face plus charges equals like really bad for you.
Yeah.
Face plus charges plus your words? No, don't do it.
Let's not do that.
Don't sprinkle that into the equation.
Ahead. You sit here, you lean back, and I'm going to lean kind of forward and shield you from these people as much as possible. Let's let's make a human wall.
Right. Even the report of defendant showed no emotion is still better than defendant laughed or defendant cried.
They tell you to show no emotion.
Show fucking nothing.
Yeah, that's what they tell these. Remember OJ in court? They give him pills so he wouldn't show emotion. Absolutely. They brought him in pills every day so he was Xanaxed or Valium or something up. That's why he's just sitting there staring as they say horrible shit about him, because otherwise OJ's he's
a lunatic.
Well, also too, he's got a huge he's an egomaniac. He'd have been making faces. He'd have been throwing his hands up in the air,
jumping
like,
over tables
laughing.
and shit.
Yeah, from what I understand, the mock when they were
mock trial,
when they were talking about having him testify, and they were like doing a mock trial, like it's not good.
No,
like, apparently worked out really badly.
Like the Phil Spector stuff too.
Well, he was like,
terrible too.
He was like flirting with the mock prosecutor.
Oh my God, no!
He was like smiling at her and shit, and it's like she's questioning you about beating and murdering your wife. You can't wink at her.
And you're talking about trying to finger her.
Yeah, and
this.
you licked your lips. What are you doing? You're not Billy D. Williams, you asshole. What is wrong with you? So
Stop saying want to get a gander at your pussy. OJ, don't say that again.
Okay, quick OJ sidebar real quick. I read in a book, the Cocaine Cowboys guy, John Roberts' book, which is phenomenal, by the way. He talks about Mercury Morris, I believe, who was busted for selling cocaine. He talks about supplying Mercury Morris with this cocaine. He was friends with OJ.
He was a dolphin.
Yes, he was. You're absolutely right. Unlike Flipper. Apparently this guy, Mercury Morris, brought OJ over to this John Roberts house because John Roberts was a big Coke dealer, and he would just give the NFL players Coke because it was during Super Bowl in Miami. So Morris brings OJ over, and he said, OJ said, I've never seen a man snort more cocaine in my life. Yeah. He's like a fucking vacuum cleaner. He snorts it. Mercury left. He goes, OJ's in my house all fucking night, just snorting like you wouldn't believe. Mountains of cocaine he's snorting. He goes, I go to bed. I come out the next day. Mercury's still not there, but OJ's still in my living room snorting pot. He hadn't slept. He'd just been snorting cocaine the whole morning there. He's like, what the fuck? Finally, Mercury comes back to get him later that afternoon, and OJ's like, yeah, man, next time you're in LA or when I'm out here, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I told Mercury, never bring this fucking guy to my house ever again. What an asshole. And this was like 1984.
And I've got no Coke left.
And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. He called it. So John, he's like, he thinks he's guilty anyway.
Oh, of
so
course.
There you go. Anyway, that's the end of the sidebar. So,
the moral of the story is never invite OJ to your Coke
never
party.
Do it because he will snort it all. So, there you go. That was when he was all Mr. America at that point. So he was doing lots of Coke like everyone else in the
Mr.
80s.
Columbia.
Never have heroes is the moral of the story.
Or at least never meet them.
Just never have them because they will disappoint you. They did say that Bill Cosby's a fucking rapist. Can I say anything else? Bill Cosby raped shitloads of people. Don't have any fucking heroes ever. Don't have any heroes. Don't have anybody you look up to. Right. Everyone's a piece of shit. Everyone's worse than you. Okay, just look at it that way. And they're all trying to rape you. Everyone.
At least we set the bar low and tell you we're pieces of shit.
They all want to rape you and set you on fire. That's it. Everybody, except for us. We're your friends. So the state says they believe that Sawyer's representation at all phases of the case was, quote, constitutionally sufficient, which I don't quite agree with as we get into this here. January 86, Sawyer is set to die at the end of the month. Okay. He files his first petition for federal habeas corpus relief, raising 18 items, including ineffective assistance of counsel. The court addressed all of these on the merits and denied it. They clear the way for the January 22nd execution. So he is sentenced to die.
He has a date and everything.
He's all ready to go here. They did say his trial attorney was unqualified. He had fewer than 5 years of experience practicing law, which is not what you want in a big-time murder trial where you're clearly guilty in a death penalty case. You probably want a guy with a little more experience than that, I would say. But how are you going to get the experience with guys with one eye and previous manslaughter convictions, I guess?
Good guy to try for your first one.
Fuck it. So there's another appeal here. That one he ends up getting a stay on that. And there's another appeal here. The fifth, this is 1988, the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that Sawyer had a competent lawyer and all that sort of thing. He argued that his court-appointed lawyer was shitty, as we said. He's still arguing that. Sure. They did, Sawyer also argued that the prosecutor at the trial prejudiced the jury by telling the jurors their decision amounted to little more than a recommendation to courts that would review the trial and their verdict, which isn't true because, like I said before, in Louisiana, the judge is legally bound by whatever the jury's decision on penalty is. There was a justice who wrote a 20-page opinion and then also wrote a 10-page dissent. Someone did. They said that the prosecutor's closing arguments minimized the juror's responsibility for determining the appropriateness of the death penalty. She said she would have granted Sawyer's request for a new trial on these grounds. So there are people that say he's right. Now, October 8th, 1990, he files his second petition for habeas corpus. They said he's denied due process, all that sort of thing. They said he's incompetent to proceed with trial, and the issue of competency was raised, like we said, by the Sanity Commission, is what they're saying. They said also that he will remain conscious during his execution by electrocution and will be unnecessarily tortured. Well, he's not being raped while he's set on fire, so I say he's getting fucking one up on what he did to that fucking poor girl. She didn't have the chance to be, not raped while she was set on fire.
Can we put coffee grounds and soap on him too?
And some hot water maybe. They said that his execution will not comport with society's evolving standards of decency. They said that Louisiana's electric chair is riddled with design defects that cause excessive burning, mutilation, and poses a risk of even greater torture in violation of the 8th and 14th Amendments.
Harry Connick Sr. doesn't give a fuck.
I would say not. Also, they're saying that the state hid exculpatory evidence, failing to reveal that its star witness, Cynthia, had been promised immunity in exchange for her testimony, which, I'm sorry, at first chance she got, she begged them to stop, and then at first chance she got, she ran to the first person she saw, told them about it, and immediately called the police. Yeah. She's fucking good in my book.
I mean,
she couldn't do anything to stop. If she physically tried to stop them, guess who else is fucking raped and burned?
Or if she ran out of the house, guess who's getting drugged back?
Her kids are in there.
Right.
She had to stay and protect her kids. Like, there's so many things here.
I'm not mad at her anymore.
No, that's what I mean. Also, he has new lawyers here, a Nick Trenti-Costa and a Neil Walker and a Sarah Ottinger. They pick up the case in 1990, and they start going into his medical records, and they go before the Board of Pardons here, and they have new evidence. And their new evidence is chronicled very in great detail in that article by the Robert Persky guy I told you about.
Yeah.
In that article, it is entitled, Robert Sawyer, His Retardation Never Considered by the Courts. Okay? So that's where we're at now. That is the new evidence is super retarded. Now, we have to say, obviously, that word is not a thing that's like can be thrown around anymore. That's this is what they're saying.
That's what they did in 19...
This is what the medical people have. This is what the court documents have. This is what they're saying.
It is a word.
Yes, it's a word, and it's a medical word. And I'm not going to say the court thinks he's special. That's not going to. The psychologist didn't say that he's special or handicapped. They're saying that he's specifically has an IQ under a certain amount, which is retarded. So fucking, you just heard about arson rape. Grow up. You can live through retarded at this point. So, anyway,
this is great.
New Mexico State University special education professor Ruth Lackeson's evaluations supported the IQ of 68 found in the institutional documents.
68.
He's got a 68 IQ, they're saying. She described before the parole board his meager reading, writing, and math skills, hovering at the 2nd to 3rd grade level. He said, quote, I can do some of them adding and subtracting things, but when you put them X's in front of them, I can't.
Okay.
That's what he said.
When you put them X's in front of them.
But when you put them X's in front of them, I can't. So no algebra for him. So his
does
quote,
he mean algebra or does he mean multiplication?
I think he just means maybe multiplication. I can do some of them adding. Oh, wow. I didn't even think. Algebra. Jesus Christ. I gave him way too much credit.
James, the man's retarded.
Medically and legally, he is. I don't know what to tell you.
It's for sure multiplication.
It's possibly, yeah, I think it is. When you put them line with them dots around it, I don't know what the fuck to do with that. She also said his, quote, cloak of competence, she talked about that. Earlier, he convinced the parole board that he had been a riverboat pilot, and this doctor showed that he had lied to hide his retardation, is what she says in black and white. Later, he became like a guilty child with an almost endless string of concrete words. He told the board he was sorry for misleading them. So he apologized there for trying to say that he was...
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm retarded.
Yeah, you know how it goes. So they said his utter inability to draw abstractions from concrete thinking.
Yeah.
She gave examples when he was asked what reasonable doubt meant. He crushed out his cigarette, pointed to the smoke, and he said the smoke ain't reasonable out, which is not what he meant. Not what she was talking about. So the smoke ain't reasonable out. Not doubt.
That doesn't make...
He has never heard the word doubt before, I feel like. His response to, do you know what grave uncertainty is? He said, quote, you dig a grave.
He is super dumb.
Yeah. When asked about the judge's instructions to the jury, he responded with, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and no more. That's the only thing that he remembered the judge saying. His hunger to learn and his guilt because he can't, she talks about. She prepped him for the hearing by telling him she must talk about the things he got wrong and the things he couldn't help. He said, quote, you mean it's not my fault that I do these things? Okay, let's back up. Not your fault that you can't multiply. lie,
Right.
but it is your fault that you raped a woman and set her on fire. Let's draw a fucking distinction between those two goddamn fucking things. And I don't care if it's your fault or not.
No.
We can't have people raping people and setting them on fucking fire. We can't have that in society.
Retarded, sure. Your brain thinks slower in complex thought. The difference between right and wrong is so not complex,
it's
motherfucker.
Not, especially not. Is it okay to rape and set people ablaze? No, it's not.
Kick her in the chest multiple times. Punch her in the face.
The detergent,
throw her in a
boiling water,
coffee grounds.
You thought about
asshole.
it. Yeah. He said, he said he was relieved by knowing that it wasn't about him. He told her how he didn't understand maps.
Wait, you mean I did all that and it's not my fault? What a relief. Can I go home?
All right, so we're good now?
That's the most retarded thing you said all day, sir.
Sorry, sir. Sorry to tell you this, but if it's not obvious to you, you are most certainly retarded. So, not even medically. I mean, no. I'm just being a dick. I'm being a dick.
Real asshole.
That's how I feel about you right now.
You're a fucking retard.
He then told her he didn't understand maps and directions and street signs and how hitchhiking helped because the driver often knew where he wanted to go. His gaps, they said, talk about his memory gaps and rambling statements. He said he tried to remember setting her, Frances, on fire, but he ended up describing something about pulling her out of the tub and that Lane tried to drown her. He just couldn't pick it up. He went off in an almost endless statements about the slope of the bathtub, the position of the faucets, and the newly waxed floor. Quote, linoleum or tile that was put over the hardwood. So, wow. He's very much into fixtures and bathroom things.
That's a specific kind of white trash, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. I put that linoleum down.
It's right over the hardwood.
You just slap it right down.
Right down on
it's
that
pretty good.
Beautiful
stick right to your floor.
Aged hardwood.
You got to stomp on it now. Don't get me wrong. So, he said the slippery rug and pulling her out of the and the rug sliding and him falling with her on top of him and her being laid out on the couch and covered with a blanket. He remembers all that. He said that just some rambling details. He said he tried hard to sound intelligent and to please authority figures by telling them what he thought they wanted to hear. That's what this lady's saying that he did. They say that he has organic personality syndrome.
What the fuck is that?
Sawyer possessed a brain damage so full-blown, psychiatrist Alex White read the complete description of the syndrome at the APA Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, IIIR, whatever the fuck that is. Sounds like a meeting of very smart people.
Acronyms.
And said, quote, this description reads like a veritable summary of the life history of Robert Sawyer. Okay. We'll talk about his history, too. They say that this brain damage, according to this guy, causes poor impulse control and social judgment. Social judgment and setting a woman on fire, once again, after you've beaten and fucking raped her, is not the same thing.
So far apart.
That is way different. In certain structured environments, however, Sawyer remained appropriate and steady because others helped him to be that way, without his being aware of it. In this guy's opinion, the psychiatrist, the damage from the trauma to his head when he was very young caused this. They do say he has a frontal lobe injury. New York University neurologist Orrin Davinsky had data from an MRI talking about a frontal lobe injury and also incredible childhood abuse. Affidavits culled from relatives say, wow, Robert's mother was ill and bedridden throughout her pregnancy, but even though she was ill and couldn't move and pregnant and sick, her husband continued to beat and rape her, and would even brag about it to people.
What?
That I don't know how you, quote, brag about beating and raping your pregnant wife. How anybody wouldn't be like, wow, great, and then never talk to you again,
yeah, but did you
or
put
stab
cocoa
you.
butter on her belly?
I mean, fuck, I hope so.
Jesus Christ, man.
But he had his good points. I mean, he got the cocoa butter out. There was a surprise of this whole thing was they didn't realize that back then, especially if you were poor, the doctor when you were pregnant wasn't a big deal. Right. I don't think they had ultrasounds back then either, and they ended up having twins. This was a big deal. The mother was very upset about this. This was Robert and a sister named Betty Jane. Okay. End up are twins. So Robert's a twin. The mother tried to kill Robert when he was a baby. twice.
Oh, my God.
Not just once, twice. Once tried to suffocate him.
Okay.
That didn't work. So that's tough. You know,
he's a good mouth breather.
You try to suffocate. That's what I mean. You try to suffocate a baby, and he's very used to breathing through his mouth. That's going to happen. Right. Then tried to stab him with a fireplace poker.
Wow.
And injured him.
Okay. Yeah, I would imagine it would.
Yes. So only wanted the one baby, and apparently he was not the chosen one. When Robert was 3 months old, the mother put a shotgun up to her chest and pulled the trigger with her toe, and it killed herself.
Wow.
So that's pretty crazy.
His first 3 months of life, he was attempted to be murdered twice.
And then his mother killed himself.
She clearly couldn't do it, so she
just said, I'll kill me instead. Right. So after the suicide, an aunt took his sister, but not him. Left him with the father who beats and rapes pregnant women.
Wow.
But took the sister. Okay. So it's an aunt there. By the way, the sister, Betty Jane, grew up to be a law-abiding person, has no problems, issues, has a family, everything's fine because she grew up in a normal fucking environment.
Way to go. That aunt is a hero.
Roberts became his father's his father took everything out on him. He was, quote, horsewhipped. I don't know what that is, but it sounds terrible. I guess a horse bridle thing.
It's big ropes.
That's fucking terrible. He bears an 8-inch whiplash scar on his leg.
Fuck.
He was beaten with farm implements. The scar from a hatchet is on his hand, where his father attacked him with a hatchet.
Oh my God.
He was beaten until unconscious. Many times, uncountable amounts of times. At age 5, he was unconscious for 45 minutes after, quote, falling off a bike, according to his father.
Yeah.
That's what his father said at the hospital. Right. Son's been unconscious for 45 minutes. You know, these kids and their bikes, they're always falling off, smashing their heads.
I feel like you maybe punched him and then threw the bike at him.
Threw the bike on top of him and went, you clumsy fuck. Right. You clumsy fucking retard, get up. Jesus Christ.
He couldn't ride a bike. He's retarded.
Sorry. You know how it is. Another time he was knocked out for, quote, several hours.
Oh, my God.
Several hours after his father said there was a fight with another child. So another child hit him so hard and knocked him out for several hours. That's children have, you know how strong kids are. You know, kids are known. They're like ants. They can 10 times their strength.
This is bananas. And the dad did nothing.
Dad just took him to the hospital, said, yep, fight with another kid. Meanwhile, fight with me. Yeah, you know how that goes. These states, by the way, the length of these comatose states varied as the father would say them over the years. No medical attention was ever sought for any of these. He never took him to the hospital. He was just like, when people were like, why is your kid unconscious? He's like, fell off a bike.
He's retarded. What do you expect?
You know, father ridiculed his son for failing first grade twice and being placed in special education, which fucking that makes me mad right there. Number one, he can't fucking help it, obviously, and putting him in special education. See, this is what I mean. I hate the guy. I want to murder him. Now this is fucked up, and he had no chance at the same time, and so I want to kill this father first and then go after him, and we'll go down the line until I don't know, until I've lost my fucking mind at this point, because I've seen too much of this shit already. So, this guy here, puts him in special, that pisses me off, like I said, because fucking, my son's in special education. It just makes me crazy. Yeah. So, normal childhood, he didn't have any normal shit in his childhood. Didn't play, didn't do things. He was beaten and everything else.
First grade twice. He's 7 years old and he's already going through way too much shit.
He had to do, quote, men's work when he was 8 years old. His father put him to work. The father was once quoted by a relative as saying, quote, he's the only thing that's mine and I can do anything I want with him.
Wow.
The father would beat him and yell at him for bedwetting, which Robert did all the way up till now, his adult life. He was an adult bed puddle. So, I mean, that was a thing that even Cynthia said. One of the aunts stated in an affidavit, quote, if any of Robert Wayne's trial attorneys would have contacted me, I could have told him about all about this and testified in court.
Wow.
So basically the attorneys didn't put any of this forward as mitigation in the penalty phase.
Yeah.
Well, this is the type of shit you tell a jury to not get the death penalty. This is the exact thing that gets you not the death penalty.
This is what saves your life.
This is when you hear that, when you hear all this, you go, let's put him in prison for life. And then you see the pictures and you go, let's fucking kill him ourselves.
Right.
And then you hear this and you go, but he said, oh shit. But it's what I mean. This fucking case is infuriating.
That little bit of information makes him having a girlfriend so much crazier.
Yeah.
Like he's retarded. The man's missing an eyeball. His hair's fucking crazy.
This is what I was telling you before.
Pissing the bed every night.
Thank you.
And he's got a girlfriend.
Remember earlier when I said this is just the tip of the iceberg? There's more to this, and I don't know how he has a girlfriend. This is what I mean. This is what I was talking about. This is fucking nuts here.
And he's fucking charmed a woman.
Yeah, they also, Jesus Christ, they talk about that there was suppression of evidence, saying that Cynthia Shano's testimony and a can of lighter fluid bearing his fingerprints were the main crux of the prosecutors. Which fingerprints and an eyewitness are pretty good.
Right.
It's pretty good case. During the investigation, I guess the detective interviewed 4-year-old Wayne in front of an adult friend, and Wayne told the detective that Sawyer did not set fire to Arwood. That Lane did. Okay. But I don't know what the fuck this kid is going to know about this. He also showed the detective that the lighter fluid can that Lane had thrown into a garbage can. I guess there was that also.
If that 4-year-old saw this shit, how about we get him some help right fucking now?
That's the other thing. We have a Dexter situation occurring right now.
That kid is going to be crazy.
He's going to be exactly like this fucking kid. This is what happened. So Wayne told the detective that Lane put lighter fluid in a quote shiny thing you put cigarettes in and poured it over Arwood, and then quote it went poof. He said, Jesus. Wayne also said that Sawyer, quote, tried to help the lady, but was knocked away by Lane and fell into a chair. This is what the defense is saying that Wayne said, but this was in front of somebody else. This wasn't an environment to question a child to get any of this.
Wayne may have knocked him over trying to put his dick out, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, they're trying to say that new affidavits say that Shano sold her testimony, they're calling it. I hate that they do that. For a promise she wouldn't be prosecuted. That she'd been under investigation by the state for child abuse. Yes, because she invites one-eyed involuntary bedwetting manslaughters into her fucking house.
Who've been beaten their whole life and think that's normal.
Yeah. So the state ended up also, by the way, placing her sons in a foster home after this whole affair. Also, they're saying that Shano actually knew Lane and had known him for a long time, and that they weren't strangers, is what they're claiming, but we don't know. The board here. He goes in front of the parole board and he cries in front of the parole board. He cries his eyes out. He said, quote, his eye out. I'm so happy you said that. Thank you. Thank you. If you didn't say that, I literally was going to go, he cried his eyes out, Jimmy. Thank you for not telling me. So he says, quote, you're sharp. He says, quote, my son will be losing his daddy if you do this. You have to give me a life sentence. I don't deserve to die. Please give me a life sentence. I never meant to kill her. I'm really sorry. Is his thing here. His attorneys, they were
but you did.
One of the people here that is privy to this parole board hearing said, quote, that's pure bull. A couple of psychologists say this stuff and they're ready to drop the sentence. The bottom line is that the jury did hear this before. They heard it all and they weren't impressed. A longtime friend of Francis's also said, quote, I asked to be a witness to his execution. He did such a horrible thing. I felt like his death was something I wanted to see. They said he was just crying and sobbing, trying to get out of being killed. What about Francis? They always forget about the victim. Sawyer said, quote, my own mother tried to kill me twice. I don't like killing, and I didn't mean to kill her. I'm so sorry this happened. I really don't deserve to die. Well, don't deserve to and don't want to are two different things here. Now, after hearing all this evidence of all of this shit, I mean, honestly, you can't look at that and think that maybe the jury, if they heard that, wouldn't have given him life. That's possible. That's as bad a childhood as you could fucking have. And all of his relatives are willing to testify to this. They vote to commute the death sentence to life without parole.
Really?
The parole board does. Yes, they do. But Governor Buddy Roemer, in his last days in office, ruled that, fuck you, you're going to die anyway. He overrules the parole board. In Louisiana, the governor can overrule this board of pardons vote.
He is vicious.
Vicious. He
does not like retards.
Fuck no. He's like, I don't like them. A juror speaks out at this point in the newspapers. He said that he said that he made a mistake. He said if he had known about Sawyer's mental retardation and brain damage, damage during the trial, he would have never voted for the death penalty. So, by the way, if one juror votes for life sentence, the judge has to give life. So it has to be unanimous there. Some places it doesn't, then it goes to the judge. Here it has to be unanimous.
Got it.
So this guy said,
well, if it's binding the judge to it better be fucking unanimous.
This guy said straight up, if I knew about that, I would have 100% given life in prison. His lawyers are saying, we're not saying he's innocent, we're not saying blah blah blah, we're not trying to absolve his guilt, but we're just saying that his mental condition deserves some consideration. November 15th, 1992, he is moved back to death row. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals rejects his latest appeal for a stay. Quote, after thorough review of this case with full consideration of the horror of the murder he committed, I believe the execution of Robert Wayne Sawyer should proceed as scheduled, was the written statement there. Sawyer was moved to death row. His brother-in-law, his sister and brother-in-law came about a half hour to spend time with him. Sawyer asked to have 2 bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches, a salad with Thousand Island dressing, French fries, a milk shake, and chocolate pie as his last dinner. So that's not a bad meal.
That sounds delicious.
It's a solid meal. It's a decent lunch.
I'm going to have that tomorrow.
Not bad, right? Yeah. That's not bad. Don't die, though.
No.
November 15th, same day, the U.S. Supreme Court grants a stay of execution to Robert Wayne Sawyer. Listen to this. This is a newspaper article, okay? I'm not joking.
How many times did they say it?
Angola, okay, is the place. Quote, the U.S. Supreme Court granted a stay of execution Thursday to Robert Wayne Sawyer just hours before the retarded Louisiana man was to have died for raping and beating his girlfriend's babysitter, then setting her on fire. The U.S. Supreme Court also granted a hearing but set no immediate date on arguments that it would be unlawfully cruel to kill Sawyer because he is retarded. And it went on and on like that. The Supreme Court...
Capital bold letters, Angola.
That's what it was.
The U.S. Supreme Court.
Dateline, Angola. There we go.
There's a retard on death row.
Retard on death row. Let's hear the case of the death row retard. We're all going to hear it. So February 25th, 1992, U.S. Supreme Court.
This is in the 90s.
This is the 90s. U.S. Supreme Court upheld the death sentence. The focus was the opinion focused tightly on the standards for federal court review of habeas corpus, and it sidestepped the issue of appropriateness of the death penalty for defendants with mental retardation. His lawyer, Sawyer's lawyer, said, quote, it's a terrible decision. They decided it doesn't matter what the mitigating evidence is. That's not what they were looking at. It's a very narrow scope. March 2nd, 1993, Jim Brolin, who's the executive director of ARC of Louisiana, and the doctor from Dr. Lucason, and other leading experts in retardation went before a newly appointed board of pardons. For almost 6 hours, they described Sawyer's retardation, his brain damage, and the MRI results. These are legal documents showing frontal lobe brain damage.
I'm Jimmy Whisman, retard expert. Here's my cock.
That's amazing.
Retard expert. That's the fucking job title?
Other leading experts in retardation. I mean, I'm sorry.
What do you want to be when you grow up, kid? A retard expert.
How the fuck are we? You know what I mean? It's okay. The writer talked about patterns showing up in similar cases with persons having retardation across the country.
Right.
All the testimony was convincing. Virginia Arwood, who was Francis's mother, tearfully pleaded with the pardons board to permit the execution to proceed. Quote, that's a cruel man over there. He just left a shell of her, destroyed every inch of her. They talk about at this clemency hearing, a parole board hearing, they asked him questions. They asked him if he knew what murder was. He responded, when the breath leaves your body. In a response to a subsequent question, he clarified, it's when you stab someone and the breath leaves the body. That's very specific.
Yeah.
When he was then asked what happens if someone is shot, he answered, I just don't know. So I don't know what's going on.
What about when electricity courses through your fucking
You catch on fire.
For hours.
Catch on fire, I think.
For at least 10, 15 minutes.
At least a while. So the new Board of Pardons votes 3-2 that Robert can be executed.
Wow.
The new governor, Edwin Edwards, which, come on, really? Edwin Edwards, you're going to name your fucking kid? Refused to overrule the board's vote.
Yeah.
The chairperson of the board told reporters that she was convinced that Sawyer was faking mental retardation.
Really?
That he's faking. She's convinced he's a big faker.
Oh.
He's really an evil genius.
A normal guy with one eye and crazy hair and
crazy hair and can't do multiplication.
Beaten like crazy while he was in the womb.
Frontal lobe damage and everything else. And,
these doctors with their MRIs and shit.
Fakers.
Fucking.
Wow.
Pulling the wool over his eye.
Yeah, over his eye. So his attorneys say that the majority of officials saw him as a political symbol and no longer as a human being with disabilities. March 5th, 1993, set to die. They reject, the governor rejects the stay. Yeah. He says, quote, "Here the question is there persuasive evidence of mental retardation? The last time the sentence was considered by the Supreme Court, the court ruled otherwise. There is no new medical evidence to contradict that conclusion. Under these circumstances, I will not intervene." Tells him to eat dicks. During the execution, about 24 people gathered for it. It's not a big protest there.
Yeah. Oh, that's the protest?
That's the vigil. About 2,000 people, or two dozen people. Yeah. That is not a lot.
24 people.
Not a lot of people give a shit about this guy here. His last meal is he has his 2 bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches, French fries, a strawberry milkshake, and chocolate pie. That is his last meal, which Jimmy thinks is solid.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all. Last words here are, quote, "I would like to tell young kids who might be reading this that drinking and hanging out with the wrong people will get you where I am sitting right here, and I hope nobody else ever has to go through what I have gone through, especially young kids. I'm sorry for any hurt and pain they say I caused. I have no hard feelings toward anyone. I just want my sister, my brother-in-law, my son, all of my family and friends to know that I love them, and I'll be waiting on them in heaven."
Well, that was a very fucking thorough statement, sir,
Jesus,
for a retard.
He was
a really great
he gave
statement.
A speech. He had a podium and everything for that shit. He had index cards. He cleared his throat.
And then he finished it with, "Thank you. You may kill me now."
He did like a little thing with his finger, like crank up the teleprompter. Let's do this. I have it. Ladies and gentlemen of the United States of America. So he became the 194th person executed in the United States since 1976, since they allowed capital punishment to resume. But 1991, the state outlawed the electric chair, and he was executed by lethal injection. So he did not have his balls set on fire as well.
Lucky son of a bitch.
That's a fucking...
What a tale.
I don't even know what to say about that shit.
What a tale.
I was reading that and I'm like, this keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse.
That's a real story.
And it makes you mad because you actually think, you're like, yeah, we can't execute the retarded.
No.
Like, we can't fucking do that as a society.
No.
We can't. We have to draw a line to where we go, okay, we can't do that. But at the same time, something this heinous, you're like, fuck, somebody kill him.
Right.
Somebody, but not the state, I don't think. I don't know. Can't we just have, okay. I don't even know what to do anymore. Can we get like, okay, here's what we can do, okay? Get like a mob hitman.
Yeah.
One of these guys doesn't give a fuck. He does it nice and clean and crisp, right? He's been putting...
Real quiet like.
He's doing 100 years on a RICO case.
Right.
We get this guy. We go, look, okay, we're not going to let you out of prison, but what we're going to do is we're going to make you like Henry Hill in Goodfellas, like old school Lewisburg. You're going to get steaks, and we're going to bring you in scotch, and you can have your own little apartment in here, and we're going to do all that.
Whatever their last meal is, double it.
But what we're going to do is we're going to send you around to people that we really can't execute because they're, whatever. And we're just going to have you put a 22 behind their head while they're fucking sleeping. 1 shot, boom, 2 shots, walk away, have a good one. Everyone's problem solved. No one feels guilty.
We're going to give you a gun. Do you understand what we're going to do for you?
And then we'll tell everyone you did it. We'll be like, he's a fucking psychopath. And you go, I had to kill the fucking guy. And it's fine. Then we'll give you more steaks and scotch and we'll treat you like it's fine. It'll be beautiful. You'll be the Grim Reaper of this fucking place. That's what we need. Professional Grim Reapers, I think, because I don't know what, that's not something that's not, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It's so hard to, with the mental problems and mental health in this country.
It's crazy.
So fucking overlooked.
And back then too. It was 1980.
Then forget it. They're calling him a retard in the newspaper.
That's what I'm saying.
It's fucking bananas.
They didn't care at all.
Insanity.
They didn't care at all. They were like, no, they literally don't. At some point in the trial, someone stood up and said, he's a retard. The man's a retard. So at some point in the parole hearing, you know it happened, and they went, yes, that's a good point.
He
and
is
someone
a retard. He is indeed.
Unfucking believable. So I think we set the record for modern day use of that word at this point, but that is Gretna, Louisiana, and that's a crazy case, and poor Frances. poor Frances, man. I feel so bad for this woman.
She went through hell, man.
Went through hell, and then 2 months in a coma also, and what her family went through. That's just awful. So if you like this story, you sick bastards, I know what you can do, you crazy fucks. You can get on iTunes. Yeah. You can give us 5 goddamn stars. You can tell us that you love us. Tell us that your clouds are nice, or whatever sandwiches you like, or
give
whatever
us
the hell
5
we tell
retarded
you.
stars.
There you go. There you go. Do that. Tell us your opinion on executing the retarded.
There you go.
In your review. Yeah. Do that. If you want to be an even bigger hero, and we're going to talk about these people in a second, because damn it, they're important. They're so goddamn important. I wish we could express to you someday soon. We'll be able to express to you. We'll be able to tell you behind the scenes of how important what you do is.
It's coming.
It's coming.
We got words for you.
Yeah, definitely, guys. But if you want to be one of these spectacular people who help us keep the lights on, you can do that by going over to patreon.com/crimeinsports, or going over to PayPal using our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. Yes, there's an easy way to do all of this. Let's say you want a t-shirt
sometimes,
and you want to make a donation.
That'd be nice.
And you want to follow us on social media. You can do that all by going to shutupandgivememurder.com. All the links are there. And if you just want to follow us on social media, at Smalltown Murder on Instagram, at Murder Small on Twitter, at Smalltown Pod on Facebook, just look us up and you'll find us there. That said, Jimmy, I think it's time. I would like you right now to light me on fire, Jimmy, with the biggest, most retarded list of producers that you've ever heard. The people we love. Hit me with it, Jimmy.
Holy shit. Okay, just a minute. Let me compose myself. This week's executive producers are Caitlin Stupak.
Either way, she's fantastic. Thank you.
A tough name to pronounce.
So cool. Thank you.
Gavin McFarland. No, it's Gavin McFarland. I can't write a fucking R. Christiane Castaldi, Nilu Rafsanjani up in she's in San Fran,
I'm pretty sure,
And Chrissy in Boston, thank you very much. Carrie Lynn, Carrie Lynn, no.
Yes, no.
Carrie Lynn Genitivi.
I like when you sound real sure of it, and then you're like, no,
I'm an idiot. And Charles Hyatt. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Greenleaves Booking, bookkeeping. Shit. These are the newest donations, obviously.
Thank you so much.
Under the Sea Fabrics, Nicholas Sanzoni, I think.
Ooh, I like that name.
Or Sanzone.
That is not bad at all.
That's a
good name.
Italian name.
I like that. He's suffered. Much like me.
He's put through a lot of shit.
We've suffered together, my brother.
Courtney Tanabe, Katrin Price. That's what it is. Angel Aguilar wants to wish a happy birthday to Stephanie, who started the Crime Sports Facebook group. So thank you so much,
Thank
Steph.
you so much.
And I heard that Angel likes blowies on your birthday. That's what I heard.
Oh, all right then.
I think that's true.
Excellent.
Kate Ives donated twice. Thank you. And King Milkfart.
No.
Why would you make me say that?
Well, I think that's the reason right there.
He
wanted
or
you to say
she
that.
Donated twice.
Let's go with a he probably on that one. Just a
You don't
hunch.
think the ladies are that much of dicks to do that?
I don't think a lady would think of to call themselves milk fart.
No.
That seems like something.
Maybe fart girl. You never know.
Well, that's true, but she didn't call that herself fart girl. I feel like milk fart is something that a 7th grader made up and then has been calling himself as his alias that for the last 20 years. Possibly.
It's probably an @gmail.com for sure.
And Yahoo.
Right.
Yeah, it's a Yahoo.
Sherry Demerchant. Yes. Carolyn Watson, Ali Vandergrift, Melissa Pritchard, Ninky Van Gent, I think. I don't know. I don't think. I'm sure. I think I'm wrong. Frank Castle.
Got that one.
Katrina Bell, James Acelta, Gemma Day, Doug Connell, Karen Waters, Caven Kruger. I think that's true.
Cool.
I think that's right.
I like it.
Or Cavan. Shit.
I dig it either way.
Either way. I'll take it. Louise Rayfield, Amanda McKelvey, Amy with no last name, Sarah Carter, Sarah Peterson, Cal Roberson, Jared Hohe, Jesse Hartman. That guy's in every goddamn week.
Thank you so much.
Teresa Lazari, Alex East, Cole Finley, Hunter Goff, Sherry Holland. I said Alex East. Kate Myers, Andrea Walls, Ashley Wilsey, Kaylee Goodwin, Ken Price, Amanda Brown, yes, Todd Crago, that's a total white name, right? Todd Crago?
Todd Crago, I think so.
We've been fucking batting them
outside
of
of Bridges. There haven't been a lot of Black Todds.
Todd Shaw, too. That's,
Black Chad and Black Todd, not the most.
Right, yeah.
Todd Bridges, Chad Ochocinco. Other than that, we're pretty much out of them.
And Todd Shaw.
And Todd Shaw.
All right. That's my guy.
Yeah.
That's too short. Andrea, I said it twice.
Yeah.
Andrea Wiersma, Jeff with no last name, Ariana Folsom, Jay Mullins. I think I said Amanda Brown. I did. David Hadnut, Sarah Fletcher. Jesus.
Again, with
why would I do that?
Why would you do that?
What the fuck?
Sorry.
Is Sarah,
we
you're
appreciate
fantastic.
it. You're wonderful,
I am not.
Sarah.
Megan Wilgus. When I wrote that, I was like, I'm going to say it. I know I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you know
and
it's
I
coming.
did. Roberta Byer, Lincoln Weninger, Kyle Krasowski. I feel so bad for these. I'm an asshole. Sorry. Lee A. Dice, Amber Rachel, Brinshindo is Brinshindo 39, who was I said his name wrong. His name is not whatever I said.
Well, not surprising.
But you nailed it. A black guy.
See?
But he does not grab dicks like Brett Rogers. He wanted us to know.
Thank
that.
you.
So we know
good.
that.
That's good. It's helpful for everyone.
Billy Bob Archer, Rachel Michelle, no, Amber Rachel, I said that. Bill McClellan, Carrie Summers, Jeremiah Norton, Casey with no last name, Matt Darwin, Ryan Charles Clarkin, Brian Weber, Craig McGeechan, Anastasia De La Cruz. What? How did I do that?
You bursted that. Well, those are pretty easy names.
Anastasia, though, should trip me up.
Probably.
Anita
yeah.
Mitchell, Marion Sullivan, Bob Richard, Anita Mitchell, Jake LeBeer coming through every week again. Sophia Duncan, Diablo Conqueso donated again. Thank you. Appreciate it. Liberty Greer, she probably goes by Libby. I knew a girl named Liberty. That's a cool name.
That is a cool name, actually.
That one in America. There's a lot of Spanish ladies named America, and I dig that. I like that a lot. That's fucking cool.
A lot of Spanish ladies named America?
Yeah, I know a lot of ladies that are of Spanish or Mexican or Latina, I guess.
So
is
every
the word.
you know a bunch of Spanish ladies all named America and a bunch of all black guys that only went to Brown.
Surprisingly enough, I was wrong about that. They went to Howard. That's the all black.
Howard is a black college. I would have said Howard's a black college.
I was like, what? Is that true?
Yeah, no.
And then,
you just heard Brown.
Right. I just heard Brown, and I was like, brown people, for sure.
Said brown
right.
Jimmie low-hanging fruit Whisman. His fruit hangs low like his nutsack.
And so I went back to work, and I asked the dude, I was like, you went to Brown, right? And he goes, what? And I was like, you went to Brown, right? And he's like, no, man.
It's fucking Ivy League, man. I would still be paying back my student loans.
Right.
It's like $400,000.
He goes, I went to Howard. And I was like, that's the black college. And he goes, what? And I was like, never mind. I got to go.
Never mind. Long
we got
story.
an HR department here. I got to run.
I got to go. Never mind.
Sophia Duncan, Diablo Conqueso. I said that. Where'd I go? Eric Herman, Jonathan King, Jennifer, Maychak Brockman. Yes.
Yeah.
Brett with no last name. He's on Twitter, though. He's fucking
dude's
a
you.
cool dude. I like him.
Thank you, man.
Eric Berry, Mary Faust, Terry Michael Patterson, Heather Jones, Sarah McCullough, Kevin Ramsey. And we're at the home stretch, James.
Let's do it,
We're
baby.
almost there. KC Miller, Janae Content or Content. I'm not sure. I'll take
Either
it, though,
way.
Janae. Thank you very much. Simonetta George or Simonetta. Fucking, I don't know. You don't either.
No, I definitely don't.
Melanie Hodge, Robert Spear, Thomas Karnak, that's what it is, Thomas Karnak, Julie McCormick, Sarah Carlson, Christina Cleland, Travo, 1978. That's interesting. Emily Brazel or Brazel, Kara Teague, Carly Warden, Rick Freeman, and Phoebe Ryan. Thank you guys so much for everything you do for us. It's overly appreciated. You guys are fucking amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, folks, so much. Honestly, thank you. We just love you so much. Thank you. We can't express it. It really, every dime counts so much, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
And every dollar we get, we're like, oh man, that's awesome, and we're blown away by it. So thank you for your support and everything, and your kindness and your generosity,
friendship.
Everything. Thank you so much. What if someone wanted to be friends with you, Jimmy? How could they do it?
You can friend me on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere.
All over the place.
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And I appreciate everything you guys send to me, especially in the mail. You guys are fucking incredible. We got a P.O. box coming up pretty quick
we'll
here.
be giving out a new address.
So that you guys can send it right to us. And
Thank you.
You guys, you can't even imagine how grateful we are for you guys. Thank you.
It's amazing. Thank you so much. And you can find me at Jimmy P is Funny. Find me there. Friend me if you want to use my name. Just copy and paste it from the show description. Don't be a hero. Don't be speak too crazy. Do all of that and keep coming back and joining us, because we will keep coming back and joining you. And until next week, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.